Hello, everyone, and welcome to Checkpoint Midnight Magic Missile Gap, session 3 of 3. We're very excited to be here tonight. We're playing this game as part of the Gauntlet community. You can find out more about the Gauntlet community online at gauntlet-rpg.com. There's so many cool games being organized through the Gauntlet. This particular game is Checkpoint Midnight. It's a game in development from Cloven Pine Games. That's me. If you want to find out more about Checkpoint Midnight as it develops, you can sign up for updates at bit.ly/checkpointmidnightlist. Now let's introduce our party of players for this evening. I'm going to ask everybody to say their name, pronouns if they wish, online handle if they want to mention that, and we'll do that as a first round where we just meet the players. I'll start. My name is Alexi, he, him pronouns, and you can follow all of my gaming endeavors online at Cloven Pine Games. So that's at Cloven Pine Games on Twitter, and you can find a Cloven Pine Games store on itch.io, where I've got some free games up and a few paid games, including one that one of these lucky players has won as a free gift by posting a selfie from PAX Unplugged. But let's go ahead and meet the rest of our party, going in character keeper order. So, Joey, you're up first.
I'm Joey, they, them, on Twitter at Joe_crack, 1C. I'm playing Marguerite, the Dodger. She's like a cat that became human, that became a cat burglar. So really sticking with the theme of she just can't escape her feline roots. It's so difficult. She got into a bit of a sticky wicket 2 weeks ago where she got sprayed with something that she was not a fan of. It smelled real bad.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks so much. Jim, you're up next.
I love that our cat character got sprayed with something stinky because she was poking her paws into somewhere she shouldn't. It was on point. I really like that. I'm Jim Crocker. I use he, him pronouns. Folks that know me from outside the Gauntlet, where I do a whole lot of gaming, including playing in games that folks are running and running stuff that other people play in, know me probably because I've been a retailer for many, many years, selling role-playing games and of late specifically small press and indie store games of the kind that we're playing right now. I'm going to be at PAX South in just a month because I'm out of my mind, and they called me and said they had tables. So I'll be doing that. I'll be in Texas in a month selling games. You can find me online on Twitter at JimLikesGames, and my website is jimlikesgames.com. Just like it sounds, I am going to be playing Inna, who is the elemental. She is a Rusalka, which means that I'm a water spirit. We are not entirely sure how much of me is Inna and how much of me is Rusalka, and that it could be none of me is still Inna, or there's just a little bit of Rusalka in me that I'm controlling, and we don't know, and we've kind of been playing to find that out, and that has been a big part of the fun of what's going on. So, last game we had we were in Checkpoint Midnight in the cafe, and we had some kind of a little bit of social altercation there. And when we got out, we got attacked by some werewolves, some of whom were Nazis. But the distinct, like if you are hanging around with Nazis and beating up the same people as the Nazis are, the distinction about whether you are in fact yourself a Nazi, I feel is kind of splitting hairs. So Inna did to Nazis what Inna does to Nazis. And there's certainly going to be some fallout in her relationship with Maria that I'm really looking forward to exploring, because one of those people was Maria's friend who she was trying to reform. And so it's going to be neat to see how all of that rattles out. I'm really looking forward to it.
Very good. Thank you so much. Finally, Jamie, tell us about yourself and then tell us about your character.
Hi, so Jamie here, they, them pronouns, please. You can find me on Twitter at Temporal Hiccup, and you can also find my games on itch.io, temporalhiccup.itch.io. And let's see. So I'm playing Maria, who is heavily inspired by the character from the Metropolis movie back in 1927. And so poor Maria went through a lot in the last session. She started out as a dreamer. She started out having a lot of, which I really enjoyed in the game, like the shift from start strong dreamer stat to like a strong weapon stat. And I think it really showed as Maria struggled to sort of understand why her friends weren't getting along, and realizing that Maria can't outrun their past of being a violent weapon, basically. So I'm really excited to see how everything shakes up.
Yeah, very good. And the other thing last time was Maria like being offered the chance to be a sort of figurehead for Robot Revolution, and trying to politely turn that down.
Yeah, actually, it's so funny because in all my other games, every time I play a robot, especially if it's Star Wars, I try to start a revolution. So this is the first time I said no.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, what a murky post-war world we live in. All right, Marguerite, good to have you back. I'd love to find out a little bit about what you've been doing in the meantime, since we missed you in the second session. So let's do a sort of impromptu love letter here. Tell me, what do you think Marguerite's major objectives were in the kind of hours, day immediately following that magic bullet heist?
Well, first thing, she wanted to get rid of the stench, but I'm sure it's not that simple. But other than that, she probably, I mean, let's just do a go-to, like another heist, just because her rival's in town. She's like, well, I gotta just do 2 in a row just to really keep rub her nose in it.
I see. So you decide to do sort of a heist marathon where
Yes.
the day after your magic bullet heist, you're lifting something else. Are you specifically going for something that Isabella, your hated rival, has her eye on?
No, something I think it's like, probably it's something that we keep stealing from each other.
Just like back and forth between the two of you.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I feel like that sounds like a role plus operator to see how well you were doing at that.
And it's totally got to be something like mundane, like not at all valuable.
Totally.
Like I feel like, yeah.
I mean, it was at one point, but then like it's like we probably could sell it, but like, or maybe we do. I don't know. We haven't really figured that out.
Is the item itself something with a cat motif, or is that too on the nose?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think it has a cat motif, or you don't think that's too on the nose?
Well, I mean, it's never too on the nose, but I don't think it has a cat motif.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what my rival's name was.
Isabella Rossi.
Okay, she was Italian.
Near the top of the NPCs list.
Yeah. All right. Operator is 2, but I'm compromised, so it's -2.
Oh, look at that! Oh, that's bad. That sounds
amazing how that happened.
Sounds like that might be a
rolling plus
roll.
flat. Yeah. What is there's an advantage die? What does that do? I have leverage on. What does leverage on me?
Yeah, so when you have leverage on someone, you can remind them of your leverage to roll with advantage when you bring them around. You can burn your leverage to roll with advantage on any move targeting them.
Well, this targets her, right? No, I should keep it. I should keep the leverage.
Want to try this off?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep that leverage.
All right,
I want to actually use it. There's a 5. Should have been a 7. Stupid compromised.
Ooh, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Stupid dog.
I should have shared this earlier when we were introducing the characters. But yeah, so it sounds like Marguerite, you in attempting to steal back this item. Any thoughts yet on what it is? Like we picturing like a big urn type item, or like a smaller piece of jewelry, or
Oh,
what?
it's a necklace that like we keep stealing from each other, wearing at parties that we know the other will be at. It's like one of those
something close
ornate,
to the
like,
heart, of course.
yeah, it's one of those like ornate thing that's like super elaborate with the décolletage and like goes, it's almost entirely encompasses one's throat when they're wearing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is there XP on a miss in this game?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
So choose whether you're marking XP with the West or with the Soviets here.
I have no clue, but I've already got one with the West, so I'll go 2 with the West.
Sure. Yeah, I think you arrive at you have snuck your way into Isabella's apartment. I assume it's like relatively fancy, or at
Of
least like,
course. I mean,
dress it up to
we are
look that way.
successful thieves, so we pay for our luxuries.
All right. Yeah. So there's like, there are some kind of, there's like a nice like pilfered tapestry on the wall, like kind of plush carpeting, but when you get there, how can you tell that she has abandoned this apartment and left it as a trap for you?
Oh, I think there's like just a letter right there on like the desk addressed to me.
Yes, absolutely. There's a letter on the desk, and you open it, and the note inside says in like elegant penmanship, "You should have washed behind your ears, darling." And at that point, you hear the like tick 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 of something counting down very nearby. Marguerite, what do you do?
I jump out a window. Like, not risking this. This
Wonderful.
is an escalation I was unprepared for, but I'm not taking any chances.
All right. So you will always land safely when you jump out of a window. However, given that we have reason to believe you might be jumping out, just ahead of an explosion, I'd love for you to roll get out here, just to see how like successful this is overall. We know you won't. We know you will land on your feet. That much is a given thanks to your move. But
yeah,
let's. So when you're roll to get in or get out, say if you're breaking or sneaking.
Sounds like I'm breaking.
Yeah, it feels like this is just a like smash through the window.
Yeah, I'm just leaping out.
As possible.
Right. So my weapon is 1. And there is a 10.
Oh, okay. So that goes well for you. So tell us how it looks as you leap out of this apartment right before it explodes.
Like she's got like the whole balcony doors, patio, or not a balcony, but like a balcony, not a patio, where it's like table, like, but like just fling them open and like somersault over the top as it suddenly explodes behind me and falling. She's probably a penthouse at the top, so
oh yeah, totally.
I fall through whatever those little multiple roof things are, canopies, before like finally landing.
Oh yeah, like so like you're like tearing through multiple canopies on your way down.
Yeah.
Awnings. Yeah,
that's what they're called. Awnings.
Yeah, several awnings like break underneath
or
you.
like a spray, tear through one before finally springing, and then like doing like the video game sort of pinballing, bouncing across to the other awnings.
Yeah, and so like fire and smoke fill the sky above you as you make your way kind of step by step down to the ground. Marguerite, do you shake your fist back at Isabella, or is this all like, fair game, and you feel like
I am shocked. We've never tried to kill each other before. This is an escalation.
Yeah, upping the stakes here. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you slink off into the shadows then after making your way out? Probably there are like people screaming and like pointing up at the explosion, and like maybe the sound of sirens as an international patrol is making its way over to investigate what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stick around.
All right, you rolled a 10 on get out, so I think that still applies here.
Right.
Marguerite, you make your way, with your life intact, but without that necklace.
How does one stop being compromised?
Oh, that's a really good question. So you've got a couple options for clearing conditions. You have your refresh move during your downtime when you fleece some rubes at the gambling table. You can pick one, and that includes clearing a condition.
There's refresh.
You also have those release moves.
Okay.
Which you are cruel, capricious, and thrill-seeking.
All right.
Actually, interesting. I feel like it's not capricious per se, just to jump out of a room as it's exploding. That's more of like you've gotten yourself into a mess, and then you leave, leaving other people to face the blame. I don't know. That would be my read of whether capricious triggers. But let me know if you feel like these release things are triggering. Those are ways of clearing conditions.
Okay.
And
I mean, if the cops come up to me, then I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's when I'm fleeing a difficult situation.
Do you want to linger outside the apartment long enough that people have the people kind of gather to what?
I'm totally okay with somebody seeing this woman falling through the sky and then just landing safely. I'm like, hey, right as the top of the building explodes.
Yeah, top of the buildings come off. Someone's like, what's that? Are you all right?
Oh, just danke, mein Herr. I'm fine, thank you.
just like brushing something off of your shoulder as you walk away.
It's like
there.
Debris is falling. They want to try to press. I'll try to run away. And like, I don't want to. I do not want to get mixed up in this.
Yeah. And like, gentleman who's concerned about your well-being here is saying, you must stay, and we perhaps we can help you. Perhaps you can help explain what just happened. And he is flagging down, the officers that are coming to the scene. It's one of these like mixed patrols where there's an American and a Brit and Soviet, all patrolling the streets together, and not necessarily even speaking the same language themselves. So they're trying to make themselves understood to each other as this man starts flagging them over to. And
once they see me, that's when I'm like, fuck you. And that's when I'm like, I'm gonna get out. Nope. Goodbye. Thank you so much. I do not.
I see. So at that point you're just trying to slip away.
Well, yeah, like once the cops are present, then it becomes the difficult situation that I'm trying to flee.
Cool. All right. Let's roll get out once more. This time it sounds like you're being stealthy about it.
Yep. Yeah, I don't want to be, but I have to be. Yeah, there's an 8.
Okay.
10.
All right. When you use an opportunity to get in or get out of a place, if you're sneaking, on a hit you make it. On a 7 through 9, you leave something important behind or take something difficult with you. Any thoughts there? Something you might end up leaving behind?
Oh, the letter. Entirely the letter.
Oh, right. Like you were like holding the letter when you made your vault out of the room, and then you
and it's got my name, it's got her name.
Oh, totally. Yeah. But you have fled a difficult situation, so if you mark capricious at this point, you could clear your compromise condition that way.
I will Okay. Go away. Compromised. Nuts to you. Now I'm good at things again.
All right. And just so you know, during our last session, we established what Checkpoint Midnight itself is in this game as the sort of known, agreed upon meeting place where the supernatural side of the city can gather. We established that it is a cafe called Cafe Maria Teresa. Proprietor is Raphael Morgenstern, who's got an impressive collection of maps all over. If you go to checkpoint moves in the character keeper, you'll be able to see some of the features we decided on for that checkpoint. So with that note and then with that scene, probably it ends with the camera lingering on that dropped letter, behind you, Marguerite. I am up to cut away and see what Inna is doing. Inna, you have left a corpse behind you in this alley to send a message. Are you next going to meet with your handler? Since
Yeah,
you have that magic bullet to deliver.
I got a magic bullet to deliver. Yeah, and that means that this is he's got my leash. It's the task he gave me, so I'm getting together with him too. And I also got my first advance, which means I now officially actually have a handler.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, is there a mechanical thing that happens with that, or does that just mean that they are, formally and officially, in the fiction, they're now my handler?
Yeah, I think it's more that fiction effect for a character without a sort of pre-established handler. We'd be working on building them together at this point.
Sure. Yeah.
Figuring out how that works, but we have a sense from character creation of who your handler is. Bradley Bushwick, fresh out of Yale, CIA handler who is the one who liaises with you for the sake of tasking, giving you your tasks and reminding you that they hold your leash.
Yeah, his dad is a vice president at Sikorsky or something like that, or Northrop Grumman or something, and he is from a good like a Connecticut Gold Coast family. So
yeah, gotta be. Yeah, have you arranged? Is this a thing where he's arranged to come to your apartment to receive the bullet? Then,
I don't know. I think that
is there a drop-off point that you guys have established?
Yeah, I think this would be like my apartment's almost certainly watched. So I think this would be some kind of the thing that makes the most sense is some kind of CIA safe house, right? Some kind of, it's like a barber shop, that has, one chair and you sit in the chair and and like Captain America style, they pull the lever and it goes down and, there's stuff underneath there. Yeah. There's probably a barbershop on one side. So it's like a barbershop on one side and there's a ladies' hair salon on the other, right? And so the men, if you're a man, you go into the barbershop and you ask for a particular kind of haircut. And they put the thing over you and they pull the lever and down you go. And if you're a lady, you go in and you ask for a particular style and they do the same thing. And the place never seems to have any other customers.
Just never have a sort of civilian wander in and, just innocently ask for a haircut and, turns out.
Yeah. And I sit in the chair and I say, I would like to be able to flip my hair like Rita Hayworth does. And, in whatever, in Austrian, and they and she nods and, puts me in the chair and down I go.
Yeah, absolutely. you get the nod. They like put on like they turn up the like phonograph and like press
the radio. Yeah, turn up the volume on the radio. Sure. Yeah.
turn the little dial that like tints the windows, right? So
Uh-huh.
that nobody sees as you kind of you know plummet sounds more dramatic than it really is, I'd say, right? Like you get lowered, with alacrity into the sort of underground here. And honestly, I bet that once you're down there, Bradley is just sitting in the like the barber chair, right? That came from from the other building.
Yes, yeah. And I think the way that this works is that like I stay in the chair. I'm not getting up out of the chair. They're gonna he can stand and walk around and talk to me, but I don't. Like it's one of those like there's like a bright light in my face, right? And he'll talk to me and whatever, but I'm not gonna. There may be other people in the room. I'm not gonna. There almost certainly are other people in the room or observing us from behind glass or something, but I don't see any of them.
Yeah, they're like at best sort of shadows at the very edge of your peripheral vision here. Bradley gets up and kind of like goes back around to behind his barber chair and like leans on it. So he's kind of like leaning over it, looking over at you. He says, "Miss Morozovia, what are we going to do with you?"
And I kind of, I sort of like I give a little kick that spins my chair around in a circle, and kind of I'm like slowly twirling as I'm talking to him, and I say, you'll probably do what you've always done, Bradley, which is, give me enough leash to run where you want me to.
He says, "Is that what you call totaling my car and leaving a very distinctive corpse in an alley for your and our enemies to all pick over like vultures and trace your movements based on?"
Bradley, your government spent a not insignificant number of young men and untold, I don't have the capacity to even understand the amount of money that they spent to defeat the Nazis. And you are concerned about a few of them lying in an alley.
He says, "Did you acquire the package at least?"
And I like demurely like place a hand over my front, and I do this with two fingers. I kind of reach two fingers down behind it like I'm doing a little magic trick. And
he like sighs and like averts his eyes for a moment.
And when he looks again, I'm holding it there, and whatever, I don't know. I mean, does it look like a mundane bullet? Is there any kind of magical? Did we establish last time? What about it?
Yeah, I think that when Marguerite picked it up from the briefcase, it was in like a little glass case. Have you kept it in its case?
Yeah, but in all, like, I was getting punched by werewolves and kicked and all this kind of stuff and everything, and I think that it's, like there's like multiple cracks and fractures through it, and almost certainly a couple little hunks of glass are, fell out at some point or something like that.
Oh, totally, yeah. And there's like maybe like a little bit of blood on the
almost certainly, yes, yeah.
Right.
There's a little smudge on there, yes, yeah. And I'm holding it up.
Yeah. You hold it up, and you can almost see like something kind of leaking off of the bullet. Sort of like leaching into the air from the like the case, and like really like walks over with dispatch. Takes the case, disappears into the shadows. You like hear like something like clicking shut and then like something being locked.
Oh, I want to like as he's walking up to it and I'm looking at it, I'm looking at him and like looking at his eyes and like looking at the reflection off of his glasses. I'm looking at the bullet like I'm looking at it in a mirror and trying to kind of see it as he sees it. So I want to try and
decipher something.
I'm trying to decipher. I'm going to try and decipher this situation. And I am using supernatural senses here. I'm going to kind of, like I said, I'm kind of in my head. I'm thinking of the surface of his glasses like pools of water, and kind of casting out my Rusalka senses to see
what
I can figure out.
You get some kind of a water magic read on this situation.
Yeah, so I'm going to roll.
See how you do at that.
Well, I'm going to roll plus Fable here, which is +2 for me, I think, right? Yes, I'm at +2 for Fable. So let's see what we got. Oh, 3 + 2 gets me all the way to 5.
Oh, all the way to 5. Well, first of all, mark XP.
I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this is definitely an XP with the West here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
and I still ask one, but I'm in your hands.
Yes, that's how decipher works.
Yes, yeah.
What you're asking?
Yeah. Oh, I'm asking. Who's in control here?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think like as he approaches you, like Bradley takes in what you're doing, like whips off his glasses, tucks them into his pocket.
Clever boy.
Kind of like takes his head a little as he takes the bullet. You like caught just enough of a glimpse to see this sort of strange distortion kind of centered around the bullet. You might recall seeing a display of cubist art back at the Belvedere, and the kind of distortion is very cubist. It's just happening all around this physical bullet, right?
Yeah.
But like as Bradley like takes the bullet from you, he like tisks, walks, puts it away somewhere you can't see, and as he comes back, you like. Oh yeah. He's kind of like running his hands through his hair, and like you're kind of catching him in an unguarded moment for just a sec, and the sense you get is Bradley is working very hard to keep up the sort of illusion of being in control, but there's something that has the CIA scrambling here, and they are not necessarily well prepared for the situation you all have found yourselves in. I think he says to you in a like turning back and like composing himself. That's a very nice story of American heroism there, and certainly I can appreciate that, Ms. Morozovia. But living in this world that we live in now, we have to be able to be smart, to pick and choose our battles, and you're never going to be the operative that you could be till you get that lesson through your head. So he's trying to shift your labels. Do you accept a Fable down, operator up label shift?
Weapon?
No, I think Fable down.
Oh, Fable down.
Yeah,
Fable
he's
down,
saying it's
operator.
less about the story and more about.
Got it. Okay. So what are the mechanics for refusing that?
Yeah, so that is the play it close to your chest move. Is the move you'd activate to try to resist someone shifting your leash. They
Okay,
have leverage.
which is
And he's got leverage over you. He holds your leash.
no, he does not.
What?
Because I completed my task.
If they don't relinquish the leash after you complete your task, take leverage over them and take +1 on going against them until they give you a new task.
Yes.
Like you guys can both have leverage over each other.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure. Yeah. That completely makes sense. Okay, he doesn't lose leverage. I just gain it.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, cool. So so then, we're giving in. Say what you want to avoid and roll. On a 10+, you keep your cool and gain insight. I can ask a question. On a 7 to 9, you'll tell me the promise I have to make to conceal my truth. I'm going to go ahead. No, I'll take that. He's got a point. I'll concede the point.
Yeah, what does that look like? And this would cause your fable to go down and your operator to go up.
Yes. My fable's going to go down to 1. Operator goes to 0. And I think that's it. Like, I think I pout a little bit, and I say, "Well, I have to I will concede the point." I say, "You are, after all, a professional and have been doing this for much longer than I have." Oh, no, you haven't, but you did go to school for it.
He doesn't like catch any sarcasm in that.
Yes.
He just
Oh yeah, no, and like that is so perfect. That's like perfect. Yeah, CIA guy. Yeah.
He just nods, straightens his tie. He says, "Well,
Yes,
I'm glad you were able to see sense. We've got a new task for you. This one, you can't leave a bunch of random dead bodies behind you. It's got to be clean. We need to recover an asset that's been purloined. The target's name is Simon Sessler. I want him back here, alive and in one piece. Is that clear?"
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, Miss Morozovia. That'll be all. Something on your mind?
Oh, no. I just sigh and I wait for them to, send the chair back up.
Got it. Yeah.
And like when they do, I kind of blow a kiss over his shoulder to whoever else is watching.
He just like shakes his head like, "Oh, these childish antics." Excellent. If it's all right, I'll cut away and check in on Maria. Maria, you had a full day in the aftermath of the bullet heist, including your friend killing your other friend in that alley back there. What did you do next? Where did you go?
I think Maria. I have this horrible feeling that Maria's programming sort of kicked in her older programming that she's not aware of.
Uh-oh.
And so I think like what we see happening is that Maria just gets up very slowly, fixes the trench coat and the hat as best as they can, and then they just go deep into the city, like into these sewers, where there's something like an old laboratory that's waiting, but it hasn't been used for a long time, in decades, and it's full of other robots that look like Maria, but they've all been like crushed or they're rusting away, or they all look. And I think Maria just sort of like, I feel like it's going to perhaps maybe fade to black, like we don't know what Maria does in there, and then the next thing we know, she's back in her apartment, the one that she's squatting in, and she's just happily moving the mirrors. She's just spending time. She doesn't remember what happened in the basement or what happened down there.
Whoa.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that is super cool and also freaking insane. So Maria herself isn't clear on what might have happened down there.
Yeah, because like Maria has like these blackouts, and she doesn't question them because she's had them for so long that she doesn't realize that she's not supposed to have them.
Yeah. All right. You hear your doorbell ring, and you here in your mirror-filled apartment.
Oh, and then Maria goes, "Oh, is that a new friend?" And then Maria like stands up, and she goes over to the door, and she goes, "Oh, who is it?"
Yeah, and voice outside the door says, "A friend of Marguerite's. Why don't you let me in?"
"Oh, a friend of Marguerite is a friend of mine, of course," she says. And so she opens the door without thinking, of course.
Yeah, and looking glamorous on your doorstep is Isabella Rossi, who you definitely remember Marguerite talking to at that gala. So this all tracks probably.
Oh yeah, they were super friendly at the gala.
Yeah, so she says, "May I come in?"
Of course, of course. And Maria still has the like out of habit. She's covered herself up.
Mhm.
And she says, "Would you what do they call it again? Something like the tea? Would you like something like that? I think I have something."
Oh, you're too kind. Yes, please. And I think she steps past you and just like walks over to the place with all the mirrors set up, and like stands right at the center of it so that there's a sort of infinite progression of her going in different directions. She kind of does a twirl, admiring herself in your mirrors.
And I say, "Oh, of course, you're just as beautiful as Marguerite," I say. And I go over to make the tea. I'm thinking maybe it's just boiled water. I don't know if Maria really understands. She's like,
Just
because she's
full of hot water.
yeah. There's like a spoon, and then she says, "Would you like sugar with that?" And hands it to. Oh, I didn't catch your name, by the way.
Isabella Rossi, and you are Maria, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Maria, and I'm trying to remember. I think I took notes.
Yeah, she says,
Oh,
I'm afraid your tip at the gala seems to have been mistaken. The curator was not at all in the direction that you and Marguerite pointed me towards. What a curious turn of events, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Sometimes we make mistakes. To err is human. Is that not right?
And we're all human, aren't we?
And I don't exactly lie, but I say we're all doing our best. I say.
She nods. She says, "Well, here's a chance for you to make it up for me then. I've been really hoping to steal an idle moment of Marguerite's, but she's such a busy little kitty all over the city, and I haven't seen her recently in our favorite haunt, the sculpture garden at the Schönbrunn. But perhaps you, her friend, could help bring her there for me. Would you do that? Would you be a dear and do that?"
Oh, of course, of course.
Have you handed her the teacup that's
yes,
just,
that's just boil it. This is hot water.
she takes a sip, makes a face, quickly composes herself. "Thank you so much."
Would you like sugar?
"Oh, yes, that would be wonderful. Thank you. 2 cubes, if you would."
Yeah. So Marguerite comes. So I come over to Isabella, and I have the 2 cubes, and I feel like I want to. Let's see. Oh, I realize, should we try to establish bona fides, or is this like?
That's an interesting question. She briefly interacted with you back at the party.
That's right. So I should have been back then.
Um,
Got it.
If you're excited to roll established bona fides, we can roll it, right? And we'll just do the tweak as need
Yeah.
be. But you could
I think I'm more excited to try Decipher, like just to see
see
what
if you can learn anything
I
about
pick up.
what she's up
Yeah.
to here.
Yeah, for sure. Just to like see if Maria picks up on anything. So
Yeah.
that is a Fable +1. That's not so bad.
So you're relying on supernatural senses to figure her out?
Yeah, I think because like I think Maria is not conscious of it. Like she has something in her that can like read and scan people.
Oh, like a subroutine that she's not herself like choosing to activate.
Yeah, because Maria trusts everybody, right? But the programming doesn't. So, so re-rolling 7, 8.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You're gonna get to ask one of the questions from the decipher list there.
Awesome. So, I guess what are they really thinking, or what's going on under the surface?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think like you've like handed her this this teacup, and just without Maria meaning to focus on it, suddenly do we think she sees things mostly in a human way, or does she have like some version of a heads up display, like some kind of a robotic screen over things?
Yeah, I think the way that so this is the first time we're seeing how Maria sees the world.
Yeah, what it looks like through her eyes.
Yeah, and I think like it's just sort of like, those old screens where everything just sort of flickers. Like there's like the CRT scan lines and stuff. I think it's mostly normal, but then when the scanning starts, that's when things start to break down. So it's kind of like Fallout, where everything breaks down into like segments, and there's a reading of things like what her heartbeat is like, or what what her eyes are looking at. But it's not on all the time, right? It just flickers on sometimes, that subroutine.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So this subroutine flickers on, and it like one of the areas of your vision just like zooms in on like her hand on the teacup, like kind of just like gripping it a little too tightly, just like kind of her fingers going a little white there, and then like another another segment of the screen shows like the heart rate readout, and like as she like is kind of chatting amiably, saying again how she just wants to reconnect with her old friend Marguerite, like the heart rate like spikes there, right? And like so you're on some level you're able to put together from all of this that her plan here is to to in a final way prove.
Ooh, sorry.
And yet is that
in a final way
to prove that she's superior to Marguerite. And like maybe like as she like maybe as she like makes some some like coy like reference like oh she like you've like fallen silent for a moment. She's like, "What's the matter? Cat got your tongue?" And like again, like the heart rate spike or whatever. So, all told, you can tell that Isabella knows a secret about Marguerite, and wants to kind of definitively set herself up as the superior between the two of them, and this plan has something to do with the sculpture gallery, which perhaps you'd heard Marguerite like offhandedly mention the statue of Bast there in the sculpture gallery at the Schönbrunn. Does that work for you as like strong enough answer to
absolutely
what are you really planning as far as
absolutely. And I want to act on that. I want to say it's so strange how humans always try to find new ways to sabotage themselves. I say. I think I know what you really want. You really want to get closer to her, but you're telling yourself that you have to be better than her. Isn't that true? So I'm trying to.
Are you trying to back her up or bring her
Yeah,
around?
I'm trying to offer her support.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, just to like have her. I think basically, if this works well, I'd like her to have a moment where she can just sort of like be more honest. I think that's really it.
Hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, and I'm just double checking. My dreamer's not great right now. It's like at minus something, I think.
Yeah, your dreamer
Like
did
minus
get
one.
like get pushed down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right, but if yeah, you
Oh
you
no.
can roll with -1 because
Yeah, yeah.
you're also rolling with advantage to the
Yeah,
cipher.
yeah. So I think, and I think it makes sense for, like, Maria is still trying to go back to things, and we'll see if it goes well or not for her. So, here we go. Oh, I forgot to do the other. Oh my gosh, I better roll the other one just in case. I forgot that one. So that's a 6, 7, 8 minus 1, right? Is that right? Did I do the math right? Is that 7?
Yeah, if your highest two dice there are the 6 and the 2,
Yeah.
you got an 8.
Yeah,
-1 is a 7.
Yeah.
So
So phew.
that's still a hit, my friend.
Wow, barely.
Yeah, on a
Yes,
hit,
it worked.
an NPC is steady to reassured. Yeah, so like she like starts to bristle as you start like telling her these like things about herself, right? And then I don't know, how do you make her understand that you're offering kind of like offering her genuine support and honest advice.
I think what happens is I go behind one of the mirrors and I have it face her in a certain way. And like I think what happens for her is that in her mind she sees a flash of Marguerite in the mirror rather than
Oh,
Lisa.
amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go for. Um and I say, maybe you should just try talking to her. I could ask her.
Yeah, yeah. So I think her expression softens, and like she says with a little less of the sort of archness. She says, "Oh, Maria, really, you you would really do that? I was all set to, you know, that seems silly to say it now to blackmail you, but you just genuinely want to help me and Marguerite both."
Of course, I'm your friend now and you're my friend.
She she nods. She looks around this apartment. She says, "Then I suppose it wouldn't be right to keep the secret from you. I know where your other friend Fritz has gone."
Oh, you do? I've been looking for Fritz. Thank you for helping me.
She says, "Be careful, Maria. He's with people that won't be as sympathetic as I am." But she like pulls out from her little purse a piece of paper with an address written on it and like hands it your way, Maria.
Mm,
And she says,
okay.
you will ask Marguerite to come in and have a chat with me."
Of course. Thank you so much. And I'm also willing to give her leverage.
Everybody gets leverage over Maria.
Yes, absolutely.
That tracks.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you're hoping to do in that scene? Are you up for that to be the button on it?
Yeah. I'm totally up for that to be the button. I'm super happy with the scene.
Then I predict we might next see just set a scene of our characters once more encountering each other at Checkpoint Midnight itself at Cafe Maria Teresa, but before that, take a brief bio break. So 10 minutes from now, let's be back here. So that's 25 past the hour when we will resume.
Awesome. See ya.
So, Jim, I saw you post about the best ending to best superhero show ever. What was that?
Watchmen.
Okay.
They like the show has been completely amazing, start to finish. It's quite astonishing, and they just stuck the landing on it in a way that I was a little worried. Like there was kind of like they had a lot of plates in the air, and they brought them all.
Yeah.
They laid them out in a very satisfying way.
Yep.
It was so good.
I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, and combination of like stuff from earlier episodes paying off, and like at least one thing that I kind of made the call to Shannon like 3 episodes ago. I said, I bet you this is going to be significant, and I think here's how it will be. And
I was happy I was right about one thing.
Yeah. And then that paid off, and a little bit of fan service, and it was all pretty great.
Yep. So 1 episode left of Runaways, which exists. Like, I'm this far in, but
yep.
once somebody, like, I heard somebody talk about it, like, it's slow and kind of boring, and then I realized it is very slow. And they are rushing through arcs, and it still feels slow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's
Cloak and Dagger, though. That show ruled.
Hey.
Never enough praise for that show.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I was always more interested in them as characters anyways.
Yeah.
Looks like we're all back. Is that right? Great. So picking things up again. Are we all right? Hard framing our characters to the cafe and working towards a scene with the PCs all on screen together. All right. Then last time around, we learned a few things about Cafe Maria Teresa. We learned that in this cafe, there's a sort of a corner that gets no natural light that some patrons prefer to frequent. We learned that the strongest kind of theme of the decor is maps, with kind of antique maps and collectible maps on every surface, maps of the city at each table, and maps of imaginary places displayed right alongside real ones. And we also learned that here robots are given a somewhat more equal treatment than in the outside city, with a closet near the door where robot servitors don coats and other articles of clothing so that they are more like the other clothed members of society, and they will sit at the cafe and sort of pretend to drink coffee or tea in sort of solidarity with other cafe patrons. Marguerite, let's hear one more kind of detail painting the scene from you, given all of that we know. What is it that we notice on screen that tells us that Cafe Maria Teresa is not just another cafe, but the known common ground of the supernatural within the city of Vienna?
I want to say like there's like a glowing, eldritch sigil, like right, like whatever, like those crest type things right on like the entryway.
Glowing like softly, such that we could believe there's a candle
for the audience, it's glowing in like a magical type way. So like, okay. For like the unaware, it just looks like a wall. But like for those aware, then like, oh, it's an actual place.
A mark that people with the sight can see that tells them this is the place. Yeah, absolutely. Did you say it's a little like a coat of arms, like a sort of heraldic crest up there?
Yeah, right above like the doorway.
It's probably got a little crown motif then for Empress Maria Teresa, I'm sure. Yeah. So, Margaret, after your brush with death in Isabella's apartment, what is it that brings you to the cafe? What are you here looking for?
Well, a nice stiff drink for one.
Sure, deserve that.
Yep. And I'm like trying to, stew and plot a way to get back at her.
Great. So you're here to take the edge off and plot revenge.
Yep. Entirely.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna show her up this time.
Ina, shall we say that you have a lead, that there's a contact here who might be able to point you in the direction of this new name that Bradley has given you?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this is a great time for us to bring in Helmut Endix,
Yeah,
journalist turned screenwriter.
Yeah, he might have some intel. Absolutely. We might have you go ahead and roll the meet a contact move once we establish everybody being here. Maria, have you come here for Marguerite, or is there something else that brought you back to the cafe after your various adventures, including that heart to heart with Isabella?
Ooh, I think I would have come here for Marguerite, but I would be on an eye out. I keep an eye out for Elizabeth in case she's here again. But I'm mainly here for Marguerite, and I ask for Hamlet, not Hamlet, Macbeth this time.
Oh yeah. So a waiter brings over a leather-bound volume of Macbeth, a thinner, bloodier volume of their Shakespeare library, and hands it to you, Maria. And yeah, you spot Marguerite down the down the bar. What's Marguerite drinking? What's the stiff drink that the proprietor Raphael has served you?
Pink Pussycat. Like, I know of one cat themed drink
from the cocktail menu.
Of course.
Yeah. That's great. And I kind of want to say, you come into the cafe as well. What is it about your expression or your demeanor that causes Raphael to see you come in and then immediately go for a bowl of berry sorbet?
You're muted. Oh, okay.
I know it doesn't have the keyboard shortcuts that that I'm used to when I play on Zoom. Sorry. So what do we want to know about Helmut here?
Oh,
or
I was just adding a little detail, playing off of something we learned last time, that
yes,
has different orders depending on the success or failure of the mission.
Yes, I have berry sorbet today. Yeah.
And so like the Raphael like places that in front of you with like sort of a sympathetic nod, and if you ask, I'm sure he can point out the folks you're hoping to find in the cafe.
Well, I mean, I know Helmut, so I think like I'm just going to sit there and eat my sorbet until he drops down onto the seat next to me.
Got it.
I tend to eat at the counter.
Fair enough.
And not get seats and stuff because I can be seen by everyone while I'm up there.
That is part of your thing, yeah. And you've taken the move to prove it now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Then let's roll that move first, because that is our checkpoint move here.
Yeah.
Meet a contact.
Cool. When you meet a contact at the cafe, roll with questions. Am I following the checkpoint's rules? At the moment I am. Yes. Do I have leverage over the checkpoint's proprietor? I do not think that I do. I don't think anything has happened that would make that happen. So I'm going to go ahead and Roll at +1.
Roll with +1.
That is an 8 + 1 gets me to 9.
All right. So in that case, your contact will have good intel or helpful resources for you. On a 7 through 9, it's dicey keeping your conversation safe from prying ears. Mark a stress.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So, yeah, to play that out a little, you know, you're there with your sorbet, and then few minutes later, the kind of rumpled man with 5 o'clock shadow and glasses, sits down next to you, kind of pretending to be just reading a newspaper, and then he kind of at a certain point, lowers it a little. He says, "Oh, did we establish that Helmut knew you when you had a different name in the past?" We don't want to do name stuff because that's
Yeah, no, but like he knew me. He knew me before I was a Rusalka. Yeah. We knew each other from the war.
Yeah, he says. So he kind of says casts a sideline glance and says, "You're looking youthful as ever, and
I cock my head and I grin coquettishly, and I say, and the years have been unkind to you, dear, as ever."
He laughs ruefully. True enough. Can't argue with facts.
But I kind of but I hold out a hand, and I just sort of tap his chin, and I say, but what you are lacking here, I say, kind of, like his chin's got a little extra fold under it. I kind of tap it a couple times. I say, you more than make up for here, and I gently tap the middle of his forehead.
Flattery will get you nowhere, but he looks pleased nonetheless.
Yeah.
Says, "A little bird tells me you're looking for Simon Sessler."
And I kind of sigh, and I say, a giant screeching bald eagle is not a little bird.
He says, "As it happens, I think I know where the weasel has gone to ground. But my advice is, just kill him. Don't give him back to the eagle. The thing's gorged enough already."
And I roll my eyes and I say, "Now, I am sure that you know the first thing that they told me."
He kind of grumbles something under his breath, but kind of folds the newspaper and sets it down like he's done with it. And if you pick it up, you'll see he's tucked into it a little note with an address on it.
Yeah. And I shrug and I kind of roll my eyes and I sort of point my eyes at the ceiling and I say, "Alive and in one piece. It's like they've never been to Vienna."
Yeah. Cutting away from that for a moment, because I believe we know that you're getting good intel from it, but there's a stress from keeping the conversation unheard. So Maria, if you enter this and if you enter the cafe, you're here. You've got Macbeth. You probably see along the bar. You see Marguerite nursing a pink pussycat, and you see Inna, who seems to be in conversation with this person. You probably also see Elizabeth, just kind of not very subtly trying to eavesdrop on what do you do?
Wait, so Elizabeth is trying to eavesdrop on Ina, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, and you remember
Oof.
their confrontation last
Oof.
time in
Yeah,
the
I do not
cafe.
want Elizabeth to get into trouble. Um, I will go over to where Elizabeth is, and I'll make sure that Ina can see me, like so Ina knows that um that Elizabeth is nearby, and I'll
Are you
sit
like
down.
greeting her like loudly enough for Ina to hear or
Yes,
something?
I say, Elizabeth, my good friend, with and so near, so many people. I say, why don't you come over here to Booth? I think we have much to discuss. I have been thinking about what you said.
You've reconsidered? You're ready to have your story told?
Why don't you come here to the booth, and we'll talk.
Yeah, so she will come over with you. She'll like pausing for like one last second, looking back at Ina, but then she will walk with you, Maria. And she says, I knew you'd come round. I knew with the I knew you were ready to lead the way. You are ready to lead the way, right?
What is Maria feeling about that right now? I think Maria would say, I would like to find a way to ensure that we minimize the pain and suffering that would be caused from such a thing before I reveal myself. Do you think you could work with me on that, Elizabeth?
Okay, sounds like you might be trying to bring someone around.
I am. So I'm once again rolling with a -1. This is so much fun. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Re-rolling. So that's a 6, 5. My math is like so hard to do right now. That's like an 11 -1, 10, right? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So despite your handicap, the dice still say you are a dreamer. Yeah. On a
And to say why the advantage is there, I'm going to say, because to me Elizabeth embodies the human excitement for trying to do the right thing, but we forget about who else is going to get hurt in the process. Like that's what I'm pointing out. Like we have to curb that human tendency.
yeah. She's nodding along. She's like you're right. You're right, Maria, and that's why you'll be such a good icon. It's you care about everyone, humans and robots, and you can show us the way forward, so the humans will care about robots and robots will care about humans. And like she's like describing for you the cover she envisions for this like special edition of Hammer and Gear that she wants to turn around a telling of your story, and like there's like tears like welling up in her eyes as she's talking through it. But like, yeah, she's willing to let you set the tone for kind of an attempt at kind of peaceful social change for the betterment of robot kind.
Okay. Yeah, and so I'll make sure that the conversation continues. I'll tell her to, because she knows where I live anyway. So I'm going to tell her, let's meet at the apartment later to discuss things. And I say, but as part of this, maybe it's best if you don't spend a lot of time close to where Ina is. Can you do that for me? She's a very busy person.
Yeah, and I think Elizabeth like looks back at you. She's like, you don't have to tell me that twice, but you should be careful around her too, Maria, I heard stuff happening after you guys left the cafe. She's dangerous. She's not like us. She's not trying to make the city better. She wants to break things. And I'll go ahead and say she's like using leverage on you to, it'll be nice. She's pushing your weapon down and your dreamer up, because that sounds like what she was. That sounds like the like content of her advice there. Do you accept that, Maria?
Ooh. Normally I would, but Maria doesn't believe in what Elizabeth is saying. Maria still believes in
Maria believes in Ina. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to resist.
All right. So that's a flat roll. Yep.
Okay. Re-rolling. That's a 4.
Oh, okay. So first thing that happens, you mark XP.
Okay, right. Ooh, that means I get my thing. Anyway, go ahead.
You're going to mark XP. I think you're going to. Her words are going to hit you despite your efforts here. So your weapon will go down and your dreamer will go up.
Yes. Okay, I'll do that too.
Yeah. But also it's a miss. Yeah. I think as you're what is it you kind of try to say in defense of Ina, as Elizabeth saying all this?
I actually think it might make sense for this miss that I take stress, because as I try to tell her that's not the case, my voice won't work, and I keep getting flashes of what Ina did in that last fight we had.
Yeah.
And I think the miss, why am I being so mean to Maria? I think the miss is that her eyes flicker, and then there are actual flashes of what happened, like what from my perspective that happened on the table. Is that okay?
Just like just kind of like projected out of your
so Elizabeth sees it, right?
That's amazing. Yeah, that's very good. So just like flashes of Wolfgang's death and of the like fight in the alley. Yeah. Please do mark that stress.
Yes, mark.
I think Elizabeth gets up, looking like fearfully over at Ina, and she says, you're gonna endanger the cause by spending time with her. She's reckless and dangerous, Maria. Okay, I don't want you to be with her. And then like she like moves away. She hasn't left the cafe, but she has kind of like gone over to what it looks like she has her like coat hanging back in the kind of like dark area of the cafe. So she's out of sight for the moment. But like you probably are like blinking and having like the projection kind of like flicker on and off on the table, and like other people's heads are starting to turn, looking over towards you, Maria. What do you do?
I think I'm going to do what it takes to stop from the flickering from happening. I think I'm going to check the release of leaving behind a piece of myself. I'm going to forcibly take out a part of the projecting stuff so that it stops.
Where is that located? Like, are you taking out one of your eyes, or do you have something else in your head you're trying to remove?
Yeah, I think what happens is like when Maria touches the sides of her face, like the temples, the eyes sort of like push forward, and there's like there's something that she can pull out, right? But it looks really, I think it's really jarring to look at, right? Because just her whole face kind of comes apart.
Oh yeah, totally.
She does it.
Totally. Marguerite, you like even as you're drowning your sorrows, you hear the kind of polite from all the clientele that have seen Maria just do this over there. So I think you can't help but look over and you see your friend removing something from her own head. What do you do?
I see her, but I also wanted to try this meet a contact move. I also see Litzt, who is like me, a cat that became human, that is also possibly the reincarnation of Franz Liszt, because that's an actual story from actual history. So,
there's a story about musician Franz Liszt being reincarnated as a cat.
Yep, came out in 1953 apparently.
Okay.
By terrible monster Roald Dahl. So, because he was a terrible person. Edward the Conqueror is the name of the story. But a woman believes her cat is the reincarnation of Franz Liszt, and I'm like, all right, that's a German name. Let's work with it.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out a ways to get back at Isabella, but I also have this con that I'm trying to work on Talia, and so I'm like, oh, he would be perfect to help me with this con as a distraction, as he's clearly the best pianist in all of this city that I always forget the name of. Vienna, right?
Vienna is the city that we're playing.
I got it.
Are you picturing that your buddy Liszt is in human form or like cat form you spot him here in the cafe? All right, fair enough.
So I would like to invite him over to my table. No, he's playing piano. I'm going to saunter over to him.
Yeah. Do the deal and lean on the piano or whatnot.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. So let's have you roll that checkpoint move for when you meet a contact.
So I'm not breaking the rules. I definitely don't have leverage. So +1 it be.
I'm rolling +1, Marguerite.
All right. There's a 5. Yay. 5.
Mark XP.
So yeah, first of all, mark XP, Marguerite.
Done.
And yeah, which with you still with the West, you think?
The West. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been trying.
I have a recommendation that I can make at the end of the game, but in regards to that,
legit. If you don't mind hanging on to that, I'm happy to hear that feedback at the end. Cool. All right. So what will happen to you?
I don't know. What's it say in the thing, the move?
There isn't a miss condition, or actually no, sorry,
the contact is embroiled in something dangerous, and now you're in it with them. Mark turmoil for the checkpoint.
Oh, we got our first turmoil for the checkpoint,
and you.
Yeah, so the checkpoint itself takes turmoil and can end up taking conditions if enough turmoil is built up here. Boy, yeah. So you approach your friend, playing piano, and he seems to be ignoring you. Kind of pointedly not making eye contact as you've approached here, and playing a complicated tune on the piano with one hand, but kind of with another hand seems to be hitting notes kind of randomly up at the high side of the keyboard, and as you kind of stare, trying to figure this out, you realize that he's sending you a message in Morse code with those seemingly random piano notes, and the yeah, why not? The message, is Hellhound, watch out.
Oh, fuck.
Yep. And like as you get that message, you sudden like I don't know, like the hair on the back of your neck stands up. Like what is your kind of
The spider sense.
yeah?
I think that works. Yeah.
Yeah. That's your kind of little cat sense.
Yeah.
And
Rackles or whatever it's called. I don't have a cat. I don't know.
You realize that there's something invisible moving through the cafe towards the both of you, cat people. What do you do, Marguerite?
Well, I run, I suppose.
I see. Your plan is just to try to book it.
I mean, try to get Litz out of there because we don't. That's cannot be good.
Interesting.
Hounds usually are not.
Yeah, hounds are bad news. Absolutely. So you're trying to take him with you.
Yes. Well then, and it's invisible, so I don't know where it's coming from. So, I guess I could try a move.
Yeah, honestly, this seems like a good use again of Get Out, kind of playing into your Madigo thing here, right? Where you always have an opening to sneak out if need
that's
be.
true.
You can squeeze through impossibly small gaps or meld with the shadows. Marcus stressed to take someone else along with you. So is that what you're aiming to do here?
Sure. I thought I was gonna have to roll get spooky for a second, but this works much easier.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're marking a stress in hopes of snagging list on this.
Yep. Well, then I like tap back. Then we should go.
Just like tapping it on the top of the piano there. Or?
Yeah, like in tune with the music. It's not in tune, obviously.
He's like, he's definitely like, shaking his head, like, no, it's too, it's too risky. But if you're trying to grab him and take him with you, you definitely can give that a try.
Yeah, I do that.
All right. So tell me about how you're trying to get out of here, and roll that move.
Well, oh yeah. Well, luckily there's a big hubbub that Maria caused, so play into that. Maybe like as people, because it's a cafe, a club of sorts, I presume.
Yeah.
I'm gonna relook at the rules of the cafe, make sure I don't break them myself. All right, no supernatural powers. Okay, so it doesn't say no violence, but
I mean, you.
But it's basically to pump somebody else into someone else and start the ruckus that way.
I see. You're trying to create a ruckus and then grab grab list
and slip out in the confusion.
So I'm not. I think you might indeed be breaking the rules, given that you are kind of extending your Madigo sneak out thing to him. So that's okay.
Okay, yeah.
Perhaps you'll be sneaky enough no one will notice, and you'll get away scot-free. But let's see what the dice say on that score.
That's supernatural.
All right.
Too many windows.
And if you're sneaking out, that's a roll plus operator.
Yep. There's a 10.
Okay, excellent. Tell me what that looks like. How is it that the two of you are now kind of outside the cafe, making your way away from this threat?
Well, the fight, of course, starts because I bump into somebody that's clearly been in their cups, and bump them into somebody else that's also been in their cups, probably likely from different sides, as this is supposed to be, so of course,
you get
tensions.
an Englishman to throw a punch at a Russian, and suddenly some of these tensions are laid bare. Absolutely.
And then I'm like, okay, now we should go.
Cool. And just is this a merge with the shadows thing where
No, I don't see it as such. I see it as using a distraction to get out of there because there's too much going on to pay attention to us.
Gotcha. So just as the waiters and perhaps even the proprietor are stepping in, trying to calm this fight before it becomes too much of a problem, you spirit away Liszt from the piano and make your way out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. We'll check back in on you in a sec. Ina, you received information from your contact. You probably registered that Maria was trying to cover for you with Elizabeth, and then suddenly a fight seems to be breaking out. What do you do? What's going on for you?
My inclination is, you know what? Yeah, this is a time, I think, where I can use my new move.
Oh, I see. Tell us about that new move.
So I took a move called Lady in Red. When you make a scene glamorous or violent in public, you become the center of attention. You can let as many other PCs as you want get in or get out as if they each rolled a 10+.
Very fair. What does that look like? I feel like you've got a chance to trigger it. Just tell me what we see.
Yeah. Oh man. So there's a fight that's broken out, right? So when I look over there, what is going on?
Looks like some kind of a large bearish Russian man is trying to get at an Englishman who's kind of sneering pugnaciously at him, and there's friends trying to pull them apart. The proprietor is bustling over, saying, gentlemen, remember, right? So there's there's just a sort of powder keg of a situation.
Got it. So other people might look at that and try to diffuse it. Not me.
Not Ina.
Yeah. So the proprietor has gone over there to diffuse it, right?
That seems to be his intention.
So I hop my butt up onto I kind of hop up onto the bar, and I do a little kind of head fake, indicating to my journalist friend that this is the time for him to leave.
Yep.
And I kind of do a thing where I lean back like this, and with two fingers, I just hook it over the neck of a vodka bottle.
Okay.
And I say, Nostrovia! And I just chuck it and hit the Russian in the head with it.
All right. That is a scene, glamorous or violent.
I like to think it is both.
And I think everyone turns to you, Maria. If you so choose, you can get out as if you rolled a 10+ at this point.
Yeah, I think I recognize this move that Ina has done. It communicates that we're supposed to meet up somewhere else, this specific set of places, when she does that particular move. So Maria will, but I think to honor the release move of leaving a part of me behind, I'm going to leave behind like what is essentially like that memory chip part
Oh,
of it.
the bit of you that had the recording
Yeah, yeah,
of Ina's violence, yesterday or
right.
whatever recent day that was.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So like but just to say like there are several chips, but I leave behind that one because I'm distracted. And I just put on my trench coat and my hat again, leave Macbeth on the table
Hmm.
and just sort of sneak my way out. Which I normally would not be good at unless I have that natural 10 plus. Like I'm using operator, which I don't have.
Yeah.
So
So you don't have to make a roll because you've received this automatic help from Ina. Um,
mhm.
yeah, Ina, the Russian like staggers backwards. The like people like surrounding him gasp. Like somebody like turns and like wolf whistles. Seeing you up on the bar. And I think the proprietor, our good friend Raphael, also turns and says, "Oh, Ina, this is not helping." Oh, you're muted.
And I make a little pouty face, and I said, I thought he just wanted a drink.
Yeah, yeah, and then suddenly, right near you is our good friend Elizabeth, um, who's been keeping an eye on you for looking out for any trouble you're going to cause, and I think she says, "You're no good, and you're just going to get Maria killed." And then pulls the trigger on the pistol she has hidden in her purse.
What?
Okay.
I'd love for you to take serious harm, and then we'll
Yeah.
see what else happens here.
All right. So that's takes your harm. Let me see here. Roll plus stress. I'm rolling +3 because my stress is at 3 right now.
Oh my gosh.
That's a 7 plus 3. That's a 10.
Oof.
Oh my gosh.
So, on a 10 plus, it's a doozy. Choose 2 from below.
Okay. So these are, I'm looking at what admission moves, right? No.
No, over.
Special moves.
Basic moves. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yes. All
Take
right.
serious harms under basic moves. Yeah.
Choose 2. Choose 2.
Oh gosh.
So here's the thing. If I mark stress, that puts me to 4 stress, which means I'm marking a condition anyway, right? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that's how that works? Yeah. So
Yeah, if you're at 3 stress, this could
yeah,
be.
yeah. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah, it makes it a clear your stress bar though, so
yeah, I'm gonna mark compromised. I have like Bradley was like, keep a low profile. Don't get to I'm just like, yeah, like I'm just like throwing bottles at people's heads, right? Like someone that didn't even need to know I was even here. Like I brought into this, right? And I gave Elizabeth this excuse. So I totally feel like marking compromised is the way to go. And absolutely, I am going to the other one that I'm going to choose is give ground so the opposition gets a juicy opportunity. And like, yeah, and I think the like the she fires like 3 or 4 shots that should just like if I were a regular person, they'd just put like I'd be dead on the floor within a few seconds.
Yeah.
But when they hit me, there's like a ripple, like it's hitting water. And like and it's like boo boo boo, and you see my skin kind of ripples and everything, and there's absolutely some like hydrostatic shock that I feel and everything, and I kind of stagger back, but the bullets just like go right through me and just like bang into the into the counter behind me, like you're shooting through like a basically like a column of water.
Yeah, and of course that means that they're breaking some of the bottles of alcohol.
Yes,
behind,
yeah,
like,
oh yeah. But totally like like I need to like stagger back and like grab the counter, and like I'm not like bleeding, but like my skin is like the surface of my skin is like there's like ripples going like flowing up and down through me, and I have to like close my eyes and grab it to like kind of get control of it and calm it all back down. And certainly there's like a little puddle of water on the floor where I couldn't maintain the surface tension strong enough, and some of it dropped out. But I just kind of grin fearily at her, and I say she's gonna outlive all of us. And you can't stand it, can you?
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. I think the juicy opportunity is here. She, Elizabeth holds up what's clearly that like piece of Maria that Maria like left on the table, with the memory of your violence the other day, Inna, and she says, "She will live in legend, and you will live in infamy, monster." And like stuff the memory chip into her purse, and then like runs. And I'm going to cut to outside the checkpoint, where we'll say that through the magic of narrative, Maria, fleeing from the cafe, has run right into Marguerite and List, also making their way from the cafe. Marguerite, List is kind of like panting a little and like trying to. He's like, to make the werewolf ghost angry. It turned all infernal. It was stalking me, Marguerite. I couldn't. The only thing keeping it back was the music. I was afraid to leave the piano, and where even are you taking me? Where are we going? Oh, who's this?
Well,
As like you basically run right into Maria.
Oh,
Hi, I'm a friend.
Hi, Maria.
You said werewolf ghost?
It was just used to just be a dead wolf that sat peacefully in the bar, but then something just filled it with hatred and violence, and I couldn't get away. He's babbling this.
I'm trying to remember. Did I see the werewolf ghost, or was it just
You saw? That's interesting. You saw Deirdre getting dragged by something invisible. I don't think you saw the werewolf.
Yeah. Because it was the Andrew who saw. Okay. So I have no idea what they're talking about.
So, calm down. I can take you to another club where there's another piano, which is what I was hoping to talk to you about anyway. Maria, would you care to join us? I think you'd be wonderful help.
Yeah, and I say, how about? So I'm trying to say this particular club that I know, both Marguerite and Isabel know of.
Oh, the Egyptian club, maybe?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be there. How perceptive of you, Maria.
Oh yeah, I
Hmm.
was talking to your friend earlier.
What friend?
Oh, your best friend, Isabella.
Oh, her. I think there's a lot you need to learn about what best friends do for each other.
Well, we can talk about it at the bar. I'm hoping Ina will be able to catch up with us there, but maybe we should go there and protect your friend from this.
Why would she be there? Yes, of course.
Yeah. Hmm.
Liz is looking back and forth. I'm missing something, aren't I?
I need your help, and I'm obviously willing to help you by taking you to a different piano to keep the hounds at bay. And the faster we get moving, the faster we get away from them. So
Is
hop
he
in.
talking about alcoholism? I hear some people say
No.
that. Okay, just checking.
Liz like hears about another piano. He's like, yes,
Yes,
that would be good. His like fingers are like visibly
Let's be
twitching.
honest, Liz. You're the best pianist in the entire city, so you should be playing
The
at
world.
best club. Well, of course. I mean, but that's why you're here in the city. So the Egyptian club would love to have you. I'm sure you could just hypnotize everyone with when you tickle the ivories.
Are you trying to bring someone around to your plan or dream?
Yeah, entirely.
All right. Let's hear it.
I guess if that's the move that makes sense, then yes.
All right. Roll plus dreamer.
Or was I trying? No, I'm upfront about this. I've got like a dreamer, I think, in me. Where is? Damn it! Too many tabs. Yes, I have dreamer 1. Let's see how this goes. It's a 7. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Goes well enough.
Yeah.
Let's see.
On 7 through 9, they'll go along with you, but they need some concrete assurance, corroboration, or evidence first. Yeah. So I think if you're head to the Egyptian club, he's coming with you, but
entirely.
He's asking along the way. So how? And you're sure that there's a position open for a pianist at this new club?
For the greatest pianist in the world? But of course, we can make sure there's a position open.
Well, I appreciate that, Marguerite. Thank you. And you know the proprietor?
We know each other.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so the three of you arrive at the Egyptian club. Marguerite, like what is the like how is the Egyptian motif put like front and center as you arrive, and like what's the what is the like Viennese idea of what an Egyptian club looks like?
Well, I mean, the proprietor is actually like Egyptian, so she designed it. So, but she's catering to the European ideal, playing up the exotic nature of it all.
Yeah, so there's like the
Hollywood Egyptian type style.
Yeah, there's like the fluted columns with like the Nile, lotus motifs, and like probably like a at the like coat check, just like a big like granite sphinx set up as the as sort of a conversation piece as you're coming in, and I think like emerging from the shadows behind the sphinx is Talia Vale herself, with of course that glittering emerald cat's eye necklace on like proud display as she sees the three of you arriving. Just Marguerite, it's been too long. And who are your friends?
Oh, Talia, allow me to introduce you, Maria, and this is Litz. I'm sure you've heard of him. I'm shocked that he's not already under your employ, considering he's the greatest pianist in the world, let alone the city.
He's like, oh, Marguerite, it's too much. He's like rubbing the back of his neck, kind of like in sort of like semi mock embarrassment as you butter him up.
Mm-hmm.
Talia, like one of Talia's eyebrows goes way up. It she's like looking at you levelly, Marguerite.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Oh, I'm smiling, looking back, and my plan is like, even if like she's not buying it right now, to start like the rumor mill inside the club. So much though that their current pianist, I want to start like the Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, dueling pianos type thing, because like the club pianist gets outraged by all of these rumors going around.
Okay.
That is the long con. Well, I guess it'd be a short con since it's all one
relatively
night.
short con, but it does sound like you might be misleading, distracting, or tricking someone here.
Yeah, totally. Yes, of course.
All right, and
I like doing
kind of roll some of this whole operation into the move, I think, because it sounds to me like you've got a sense of how you want to pull this off, and we'll see how successful it is. So, Marguerite, when you mislead, distract, or trick an NPC, tell us the trick and roll plus operator. It sounds like the trick is getting it so that Liszt gets a chance on the piano, and the club clientele will riot if he isn't allowed to stay.
Well, yeah, or so much that like the fans are demanding to hear the pianist play off.
Yeah, trying to spread that tail. Absolutely.
Yep. And it's operator. Yeah, I like operator. Don't fail me now. You did not. All right, that's a 9 + 2.
Okay, on a 10 plus, you get to choose 3 from that mislead, distract, or trick list.
Well, let's see. I'm going to create an opportunity for myself or another.
Yeah,
perhaps granting advantage.
Totally. And the opportunity largely being for Liszt to get over to those pianos, right?
Yep. Let's see. I definitely keep them confused for more than a moment or two.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah, take that, Talia, and I guess the crowd. And I don't have to throw someone else under the bus. I mean, Litz actually wants to do this, and like I have faith that he will be good, and then maybe he could actually get a job, even though I'm planning to steal from the proprietor.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like the scene here is Marguerite manages to kind of slink her way in, right? Spread the word, get the crowd chanting, we want Liszt, we want Liszt, and soon we've got like 2 pianos going, and like people are applauding uproariously. The drink is flowing freely, and Talia just kind of is like presiding over it all, like seeming like slightly confused that this is going on, but like pleased that, because this is definitely a good night at the Egyptian club.
Yeah, people are buying more drinks as they're getting rowdy. And
yeah.
What's like my ledger man?
Are you planning on working over the crowd at this point?
I just want to work her over. Like, that's the thing. I'm like, I don't have a move to just steal from one specific person.
Yeah.
And this is the only one that seems apropos, I guess.
Yeah. So your plan is that while all this is going on, you're aiming for that necklace.
Totally.
Let me just check in to make sure we're like keeping track of things. Maria, what are you doing? Marguerite seems to have like the getting into this club well in hand. Your hope was to bring her face to face with Isabella here. Is that correct?
Yeah, and so I kind of want to figure out how to set that up.
You scanning the crowd for Isabella, I take it.
Yeah, actually, I was wondering if I could, like, while Marguerite is busy, I wonder if it's one of those cartoony moments where Marguerite is distracted and I'm talking to her while she's distracted. Like, yeah, so you'll be willing to talk to someone, right? Yeah. Like, if I roll well enough.
I mean, I love that. So it's like, yeah, don't you want to go see those statues again? I'm like, what? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Like talking to a child, right?
Yeah, totally. So just kind of just trying to bring her around while she's focused on her own kind of grift here.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That sounds legit. Are you rolling to bring someone around?
I am, in fact.
Because that has effects on PCs, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm trying to sort of like say how can I, what is this embodying?
Trying to get that advantage, huh?
Yeah, for
Always.
sure. But it's also like Maria always thinking about humanity for sure.
Mhm.
And I think she's going to say something along the lines of, I think it's funny because Maria says one thing, but even though her face doesn't move, like it's a little haunted, where she says, we should always give our friends more second chances. But she's also thinking about Ina at the same time. So like, oh Maria, it's okay, Maria. I think so.
You
I'm
sweet summer child.
I'm going to re-roll. Ooh, it's a 5. Good thing I had that advantage. 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right. Yeah. On a 7th 9, you choose one for the PC. Either if they go along with you, they mark XP, or if they refuse, they mark stress. It's kind of a carrot or stick option.
Yeah. I'll give the chits because the chit is very useful, and I don't think Marguerite has one yet.
Oh, is it a chit?
But I'll offer it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, offering a chit. If she will agree with you that she's going to meet Isabella. Sure. Yeah.
So you just want me to meet Isabella?
Yeah, just want you to like just spend some time.
After we leave here.
And then I think at that moment, that's when Isabella is going to like walk in, super gorgeous, like, right? Like,
oh, totally.
In this like champagne rose kind of awesome dress.
Yeah, and she's wearing the necklace you didn't get to steal from her previously, Marguerite.
Well, I don't want to meet with her yet. That's the problem. So that's the question I asked to you. If I agree to meet with her later, does that count for you?
Yeah, I think Maria is easy to talk to as long as you.
I want to meet with her tonight, just not
after
I've got my own new necklace.
Okay, so that you can. Oh, very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah. So let's say Isabella doesn't show up yet. Yeah, because I want that moment where you both have.
No, I'm okay with her being there, but that's when I'm like, sure, I'll meet with her later. As I walk away to do my thing, and that's when she shows up and sees you.
All right. So Maria, you feel like Margaret has sufficiently agreed with you, even if she's asking for a kind of postponement on that meeting.
Yeah. That's fine with me.
Cool.
I think that still deserves some shit.
Chits do cool things. Okay.
Yeah. Got a chit you can cash in for advantage. All right. Then it sounds like, Marguerite, the next thing you're trying to do is take advantage of the overall distraction here and go for that emerald, cat's eye, right?
Yep. Let's see.
Yeah, and we've described the scene a little. There's what any other details you want to add about the kind of clientele and decorations of the Egyptian club?
Well, I think it's like one of the most popular. I'd like to say it's one. No, it is one of the most popular clubs in the city.
Yeah.
There's many mobsters frequent this place because I'm sure there's also, I don't know if gambling's legal in Vienna, but
there's some going on in a back room here.
Yeah.
We'd be shocked to find there was gambling going on.
And it's like it's like a casino back there, I'd say.
Yeah. So let's say you're kind of moving among this crowd. List is tinkling the ivories, and you're aiming for that necklace. Go ahead and roll plus operator.
All right. And so when cashing in, can you do stuff after you roll?
You can cash in a chit after a roll
to add advantage.
Yeah.
Is that what it does?
Yeah, you can cash a chit to add advantage. So it's
the same with leverage.
Leverage is slightly different. Leverage kind of sometimes gives you advantage. Always gives you advantage when you try to bring someone around, and then you can kind of
because
burn your
leverage on them
advantage.
to roll with advantage on any move targeting them. You can invoke advantage after a roll and add an additional die to those already rolled. Okay. Well, so let's see how I roll first to see if I need to burn that chit or that leverage. I don't.
Yeah, you've got a couple options.
5, 6, 7. I'm gonna burn the chit because why not? So there's a 6, 7, 8. All right.
Okay.
7. No, it's a playbook move. Is that what we're using? The Ledgerman?
Yeah, ledger domain, right? Take
I
advantage of
didn't
crowd's distraction to work them over. On a hit, you pick as many pockets as you'd like, and we'll say you can spirit away that necklace on the hit.
Mhm.
You do have to choose.
One.
You only get to choose one of these.
All right. Let's see. I want to leave behind the calling card. She's going to suspect the thing because I'm leaving behind a calling card. So I didn't pick up something that's more trouble than it's worth.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, we've kind of established that the main thing you're trying to get here is this necklace, and the necklace itself is not like cursed or anything. But tell us a little about what the you swiping the necklace looks like and what the calling card is that you leave, right?
Oh, I think it's like Talia's making the rounds and and I've managed to people are dancing and I've managed to start this string of people passing off partners. And that's we end up dancing together, and that's when it's the hands caressing and the Arsène Lupin type thing, caressing and slipping away the necklace as she spins away. But and then spinning around again as a phony replacement's placed in back, but it's obviously a little inscription specifically to her from me.
I see. So you've swapped the necklace for a fake, but when she takes it off later, she'll definitely see that you've left a note on it, letting her know that you've liberated this necklace for yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
I told her I was going to steal it all along. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's take. If it's all right.
To get back to Ina.
Actually, let's take a short bio break and then get back to Ina. A short one, so more like 5 minutes. So at 37 past, reconvene. Cool. All right.
Thanks for letting me hog that spotlight a bit, Jim.
That's totally fine. You didn't get to play last week, so no, and it's fun. It's fun to watch you doing your Catwoman stuff. So I'm enjoying it.
Cool. I was very tired, as you can imagine.
All right. Are we just about ready? Looks like Jamie's surely on their way back, but let me just check in real quick. Ina, you got shot a bunch. It was a doozy, as take serious harm suggested. What's your next move, do you think? Like, is this sort of thing where you'd want to get out of there before more kind of chaos comes down on you, or are you sticking with the cafe for the moment?
The first thing I want to do is point at whoever is at the coat check.
Yeah, just point to the staff member right at the door,
and like I point a finger at the coat check boy, and I kind of cock my head over to what's our proprietor's name?
Raphael.
To Raphael, and I say, I expect that he will not be working here the next time I come in. As I'm kind of on a, like I've kind of plopped down onto one of the chairs, the stools at the counter, and kind of there's a little bit of water kind of flowing down between, like the front of my dress is wet, right? But I am kind of but it's, I'm hurt, but not.
Yeah, trying to keep it together.
Yes, kind of holding it back together. I do want to make sure that whoever is supposed to take weapons away from people gets fired.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Raphael nods tersely at that. The young man at the coat check is kind of cowering a little bit. The Russians in the bar are demanding that you be kicked out, though, right? Like some of them are a friend of the one who got brained is pounding a table, and Raphael looks at you looks over at them. He says, "Why is it that every time you come around this cafe, something like this ends up happening?"
And I shrug, and I whatever. I pull a couple of whatever, 100 Deutschmark notes out of my little clutch purse that I carry around with me.
Yeah.
And I throw them down, and I say, and you know what? And I kind of saunter over there, and I think I've regained enough of my composure that I can just say, serve them drinks until they're my friends again. And I just drop a couple of 100 Deutschmark notes on the counter, and I give them a little wave, and I saunter out of the cafe.
All right. I think as you do so, you hear the sigh from Raphael behind you. I think that if he's gonna kind of cover for you here, he will have leverage over you in future.
What I wanted to do was basically distract those Russians. I feel like this is my attempt to do a mislead distractor trick.
Oh, nice. Let's roll for it then. See how it goes.
So my operator is up to a whopping 0 because I'm taking Bradley's advice here. I'm not escalating.
You are compromised, however.
Extricating myself from the situation. Oh, I am compromised. Yeah. So let's see. It's probably not going to work, but so let's see how we do here. That's an 8 minus 2 gets me to 6. Yeah, there's nothing I can do.
Mark XP.
Oh, yep, I can do that. That's true. Oh, and I'm going to mark it with the Russians because this is a bunch of Russians.
Yeah, because you are trying to liquor up the weapon.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I've learned what works. I learned what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. So, oh yes, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, and I mean, and if that's the thing where I got to give up the whatever the leverage or something like that in order to have that work, then yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, I think I might roll a few things together here.
Yeah,
where,
please.
You were kind of like instructing the staff to smooth over this incident, and kind of as the Russians are still kind of cursing you in Russian under their breath. Raphael glides in, all smiles, trying to soothe ruffled feathers. And I'll mark that he's got leverage over you, so we recall that for the future. But I think you also feel you also feel this kind of strange sensation, from losing, from kind of springing all those leaks, right? Having all this water, and you feel like called strongly to the Danube, with the sense that you have to return to the river to kind of reform yourself.
Have I messed with the cafe at all in all of this? Are things perhaps like fractious at the cafe?
As far as the marking a condition here,
checkpoint condition, yeah.
Wow. So my plan was that the like checkpoint conditions get checked as like the turmoil fills up.
Oh, okay, got it, cool.
So it might be. It feels like a really hard move to check fractious, albeit this is the last of a three shot.
But so is marking turmoil a thing you could do in addition to whatever else happens?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just asking, just because I'm interested in the mechanics and how it all.
I feel like misses within the cafe are often going to be good opportunities for marking turmoil.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Sure, turmoil track marked. In a like making her way out, but owing somewhat for it, and feeling this like strong pull towards the Danube.
Yeah, no, that's not. I'm not going to resist that. I will. Walk to the nearest bridge.
Yeah. The river sort of ripples below you, and you feel kind of in like the way the water like laps against the stone of the bridge. You get this kind of this message from it. Sort of like how does the like voice of the river sound to you? Like what is that like as far as hearing or sensing the what the river has to tell you?
Oh, I don't think I don't hear it as much as it's like it feels like it's a tactile sensation. Right, the closer I get to it, and if I kind of stop and concentrate, I can feel it flowing over me. And it kind of conveys information. Like it's like a synesthetic thing, right? Where I'm not hearing it, but that sensation conveys kind of the information that other people might get by hearing things.
Yeah, like clairsentience.
What's
Absolutely.
that?
Clairsentience. It's the ability to like feel and gain information that way from psychics.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. It's like my senses work a little differently when I'm near the river, and that's how it conveys information to me. And so I'm going to do the thing that amuses me, which is I am up on a bridge, and there's some handsome gentleman, who's coming walking towards me, and I wave to him, and I say, "Oh, there you are." And I like take 3 or 4 steps towards him, and then I stumble against the side of the bridge and topple over and just plummet into the river, and I'm gone.
Yeah. The gentleman's like, Miss Fraulein, right? And you're like running over to the edge, like looking down.
Not even a ripple. Yeah.
You're just gone. You're
Yeah.
deep in the water there. Yeah. Yeah, and the water embraces you in a. The water is glad to have you back. The water is also disappointed because the Danube told you that the bullet belonged, down embedded in the mud and the silt where it could be safe, and you gave it to the Americans, and the river is upset about this. Does the river have leverage over you? Have we established that?
Gosh, I can't imagine that it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like fictionally, like I described a situation where fictionally I feel like, yeah, it absolutely does.
Awesome.
Like the only way it wouldn't is if it's like so big and diffuse that it's like that it has trouble making up its mind. That's the other thing that I think might be a thing. Maybe there's like a lot. It's like constantly flowing and changing, and I feel like it has it has this very kind of mercurial, like liquid consciousness, right? That is not that is hard to understand.
We'll say that the like current you're submerged in though has like focus, because why not? I think the river is telling you. Yeah, I mean, you belong to the and not to the Americans, and you need to remember that.
Sorry,
you
roboted just enough there that I missed, I think, the meat of your sentence.
The river is telling you that you belong to the water and not to the Americans, and you need to remember that.
Is that somehow changing my labels, or just or is it initiating a conversation with that as the kind of the opening?
Well, how do you respond to that?
And I say, you're not wrong, but you don't have my leash, do you? And the Americans do. And as long as they do, you can cajole me, but they can compel me.
Yeah. There's kind of an angry ripple, all around you, and the sense you get is the river doesn't fully understand this the way this leash works, right? The river just feels like you are someone it gave this great gift to, and there's these people in the way, and you're letting them get in the way. And I think it is attempting to get your fable up and your weapon down.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
All right,
I'm gonna let that happen.
Yeah, and how do we see you kind of accepting the river's words here, or the river's message?
And I kind of and I just sort of settle into the silt on the bottom of the river, and I'm just kind of lying there, and it's like cool and like soft around me, and the water is just flowing over, and there's fish and stuff going by and everything. And I just say, and I kind of a little smile crosses over, a mischievous smile comes across my face, and I say, well, you want me because I am part of the world above, but they want me more because of how much of you there is in me.
And we see just like, as like the camera pulls back, right? Just like fish swimming past, and like wreckage of some Roman ship embedded here in the kind of silty bottom of the Danube.
Yeah, like I've got my like my hair's kind of splayed out across a like a shield, right? That is just like half bare. That like my leaning against it, kind of the silt kind of came off, and so there's my hair just sort of all splayed out against, that Roman shield that I'm resting my head on at the bottom of the river.
All right, very cool. I'm inclined to cut away from that and check in with Maria. Maria, you feel you've done a good deed, right? And trying to help Marguerite and Isabella, figure out their friendship here. You also have from Isabella an address that is supposed to point you towards Fritz. And I want to know, is that what you go to check on?
Yeah, I feel like Maria feels confident enough that the two of them will talk to each other. Yeah, and like, but I feel like Maria's kind of afraid to go by herself. I think Maria, she's kind of worried about what might happen. I think Maria is starting to become afraid of herself at this point.
Yeah, extremely legit.
Yeah, so I think I try to find a way to go to the address if I could have at least one other person with me to make sure.
Who are you trying to? Who do you want to bring with you?
I think I want to bring Ina because I want to prove to myself that she really is my friend.
That's so charming. Ina, where does Maria manage to find you then? Like, is it the sort of thing where it's possible Maria could, stick her face in the water and see you down there at the bottom of the river?
Like I'm walking at the bottom of the river. Oh, there you are.
I don't think so. Because I kind of want this. I kind of want this to be like Ina's like private place, right? But certainly, in that like coincidence kind of way, there is the thing where like, she turns a corner on the riverfront, and she turns a corner and I'm literally there, like on the embankment under the shadow of the bridge, just kind of doing this, just sort of like flicking my hands, and sort of I like snap my head and my hair just kind of swirls a little bit, and the water just sort of sloughs off of it, and then it's like coiffed again. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, Maria, you find Ina.
And so I come up to you and I say, "Oh, I'm glad you got out of there okay. Are you all right?"
Maria left before I got shot, right?
Yes, I didn't see you.
Yes.
Yeah, you were just making a scene as Maria left.
Yeah. And I raise an eyebrow and I kind of look at you and I say, "How much do you actually know about your friend Elizabeth?"
I know that Elizabeth helped me to make sure I didn't hurt people when I was afraid about losing Fritz, and she made sure I was safe.
Mm-hmm. And I gently take her hand and I kind of turn it and press it against my stomach so that her fingers can kind of run across my abdomen and feel the indentations that are still kind of healing themselves up where I got shot. And I kind of hold her hand there and make her like not forcibly or anything, but just kind of
Right.
because it's an intimate gesture, but I'm like,
Mhm.
it's okay. I want you to
Mhm.
understand what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm holding your hand there against my stomach, I say, she tried to murder me. She brought a gun into the cafe,
But why
and
would she hurt you?
and I kind of gently put your hand back, and I say, and I kind of cock my head, and I say, I think because she wants you all for herself.
And
I think she's scared. I think she's scared that she is a little bag of flesh and blood and bone, and she has perhaps half a century on this world, less if some sort of terrible fate should befall her, I say, kind of letting that hang for a moment. But you, and I kind of reach out and I playfully like ting ting ting, like with a knuckle, kind of rap against your shoulder. I make a little musical tingity ting ting. You will outlive all of us. You will be beautiful forever.
and then at that, Maria will sort of like cock her head and say, "But if that's true, I don't like that she hurt you. But you also hurt Wolfgang. I don't understand how friendship works, I think."
Wolfgang is not your. Wolfgang was not your friend. Wolfgang was using you.
And then so Maria like, "And you're not using me?"
I absolutely am, dear. We all use each other. There is no friendship that is not that doesn't that doesn't get you something if it's even if it's merely approbation, if it's simply an end to loneliness, that's worth something. And the question that you must always ask yourself is what you're getting out of the friendship. Is it worth it to you for what's being taken away from you?
And then so Maria will stop for a moment and she says, "I think I don't know enough to understand everything that you're saying, Ina, but I hope you know that you are my friend and I don't want anything from you except your happiness." And I think she's going to try to bring you around.
Yeah, sure.
What are you trying to
Um,
bring Ina around to?
I think I just wanted to have a little more hope, to know that Maria is not the exception, that Maria just embodies that exception, but there are other people who want to be there
It
for Ina.
Yeah, it sounds like that might be back someone up. I mean,
Ooh, yeah. That's true. That's true. Offering vocal support,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah, so you can also heal up. That makes sense. And I will also say that everyone I know has been, yeah, because it's true. This whole time it's been like Marguerite not trusting Isabella, and then Elizabeth not trusting. And I'll say, um, I know that you're trying to protect yourself more than anything. I know that you've been through pain that I can't understand, but I know that you're stronger for having that pain. And then that is a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, 11, I think.
Well, very nice. Yeah, on a big hit like that for back someone up, the PC can clear stress, or mark XP, or shift labels if they show you a glimpse of their true self. And then a 10 plus, you can also clear a stress or take a chit.
Wow. All right. So I'm going to I'm going to clear my stress and um uh and I sort of stare at her for a moment, and then and I say, you will not only be beautiful forever, you will be a child forever. And I mean, like, it's said as like a compliment, right? Not as like, like no one is going to beat this out of you. And I think that it has dawned on me that the fact that she doesn't have to worry about dying means, like, all of the things that we see as risky, she doesn't necessarily have to see as risky, right? Like if somebody betrays her or whatever, yeah, whatever. They, like maybe they mess her up for a little while, but we wind her back up and she's off again, like we can only really badly screw up with somebody once, and that might be the end of it, right? So I kind of like, I get that. And I turn and I walk like 5 steps past her to where there is like an old man who has like a little accordion, right? That he's just kind of playing randomly. And I like take out another one of those 100 Deutschmark notes, and I just kind of like drop it into his little hat, and I say Tchaikovsky. And I turn and I walk back and I kind of like cock my head and I kind of grin impishly at Maria. And I walk over to, and there's like a railing that goes along because we're like under the bridge, right? And he starts to play the Tchaikovsky, and I like stand up and I put an arm out on the bar and I kick a leg out. And as he plays Tchaikovsky, I just do like a ballet routine for her, like privately for her to watch. Because if I can, I would love to roll into this is actually my refresh move.
Yeah, when you dance uninhibited, you can clear your stress check or clear a condition. If you let another PC see you dance, pick both.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah. Awesome.
So I already cleared my stress. But I can do both. So then, so for getting supported, I could have taken an XP. Or shifted my labels. Yeah, I'm gonna take I'm gonna shift my labels.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shift my dreamer up by 1 and my operator down.
Just going for the dreamer.
Well, yeah, because like Maria's like, you don't need to like you can just be sincere with everybody, and it'll all work out and all that kind of stuff and everything. And I'm like, maybe I'll give that a try. Yeah. And I'm totally cool to fade out on the old man is playing Tchaikovsky on the little squeeze box there, and I am doing pliés and like pirouettes and stuff like that. And maybe at one point I walk over to her and I'm doing little like kind of en point like this, and trying to get her to do it along with me, like I hold my hands out, and I would love to fade out with that if that works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Maria, you get one option from your extremely successful back someone up as well. Did you take a chip or clear a stress?
I did. Right. I took a chip. Mm-hmm.
Well, then I love that. I love ending that scene on that refresh move. Marguerite, are you headed then to the Schönbrunn sculpture gallery as you told me? Oh yeah,
totally.
That's gotta be where you're going.
It's gonna be a costume change because this is like spy fiction. So
yeah, what are you wearing as you walk into? We'll say it's like absolutely dusk now, right?
Oh, it's got to be like nighttime and snowing. Because
okay, yeah, sure, a little snow going on. Why not?
Yeah, but yeah, she's wearing like ridiculous gown that is definitely not suited for this temperature.
Is there like a fur coat or like a fur shawl over it?
Shawl,
like
a
stole, to the winter conditions. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So you arrive in the sculpture garden, and kind of there's a
The necklace, of course, on. So
wearing that emerald necklace.
yeah.
Yeah. And there's a seated statue of Bast, the Egyptian cat goddess, and kind of sitting in the lap of Bast is Isabella Rossi. Clearly waiting for you
Mm-hmm.
as she sees you coming. She gives you a little wave.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do, Marguerite?
I smile. Smile as I approach, and standing across from her, with like hand on my hip as I'm like trying. Well, I agreed to meet her. Maria didn't convince me that I should be nice to her. I'm like, you changed the rules, Isabella.
Yes, sorry about the package there.
Mm-hmm.
The wolves made me do it, but I see you made your way out in one piece, as I had every confidence you would.
Mm-hmm.
And she slides down from the from the statue's lap, and she says, "Which she's got to be wearing if you had a little fur shawl, she's got just like a hand muff, the thing where
I know
you got, the white fur that both your hands are tucked into in the chilly condition, and she slides down, withdraws a hand from that, and
So you're working for the wolves now.
For is such a strong word. I've worked with everyone in this city. You spend enough time here, you'll find that just sort of happens to people in our line of work.
It does.
It's no need for these games, Marguerite. I know.
I'm not the one that's ever tried to kill you.
And she nods, fair point, touche. But she says, but these games are getting old, don't you think? Wise mutual friend was talking to me, and made me realize, it's not that we have to prove ourselves against each other, Marguerite. We could be a beautiful partnership. The city wouldn't know what hit her. The two of us working in tandem, and perhaps you could even share a little bit of those cat-like powers that I know you have.
I guess I have to decipher her now.
All right. Yeah.
So I'm
please.
like, what's going on here? And I'm just reading her. I'm not
regular, normal, non-supernatural senses. So roll with operator and try to decipher Isabella.
the least supernatural creature amongst us. 7, 8, 9.
All right. Do you get one of those questions, or unless do you have
I have leverage on her? I don't know if that does anything, but
you can burn the leverage to get advantage on this move.
Let's see. Let's see. I don't know if I want to burn it. I didn't know if it was like masks where you got a +1 whenever you have leverage on someone.
No, it's more. It always gives you advantage to bring someone around, and it can give you advantage on other moves if you burn it. Do you have a chit though? Because you could cash
you
your
did
chit
earlier.
You did the chit earlier.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, 7 and 9 is still good.
Yeah, you get to ask one of the decipher questions.
Instead of 3. I don't want to burn it, do I? Well, let me look at the questions, I guess. All right, I'll burn it. Just there's more than one question that I would love to ask. So,
and what is? Oh, same result.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Worst use.
I'm so sorry, Marguerite. What does you burning the leverage look like? Like, do we see something on screen that
I never even thought of that. when did I get the leverage on her?
I think it
the
was
first session.
Yeah, I think it was from misleading her
tricking
back
her.
at the gala. Yeah, you'd learned. Ooh, yeah, the leverage kind of came from just like getting the sense that she was specifically like researching you, trying to figure out what was going on with the statue of Bast here in the sculpture garden.
Okay, so what does it look like? Well, it's obviously you've been looking into me, so you haven't been hiding that very well, Isabella.
Yeah, just burning the leverage with a burn. I like it.
So what are they really thinking, or what's going on under the surface? Like, is she being actually honest in this statement of hers? Because I wasn't there for Maria's talking to, so
you were not. Yeah, you're watching her closely, just like watching for tells. And the really extraordinary thing is, it seems like she's being honest. Like she's willing to bury the hatchet and work together.
well, I suppose I'm not opposed to the idea. It's going to be odd. I'm sure you understand. Spend so much time always trying to one up one another. Then I mean, just what, we just give up the game, or do we strike out? Do we find someone else to play with?
Oh, I think the game can advance to a whole new board, she says, kind of flashing you a dazzling smile. And then like she like reaches out and like taps the emerald on that necklace you stole. and she says, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I know you had your eye on it too. I mean, who didn't? As like we're stepping closer, so okay.
2 more questions from
no,
Disciple.
remember I only got a 7 or 9.
Oh, it was only a 7 or 9. Okay,
yeah, because I re-rolled the same exact number. So,
I forgot. Let's see. We know that. Yeah. So technically, Isabella does not have leverage over you.
Yeah.
And you don't have leverage over her.
Not
so
anymore.
you are equals right now.
I know.
Marguerite,
it works mechanically and fictionally.
Marguerite, what do you do?
I kiss her. Why not? Like,
I was really gonna type in the chat like kiss, like, but I didn't want to disrupt the moment.
I'm like, it was all leading to that. I'm like, I think we do the fit, like the pan to the side. Except it's cold, so we're probably gonna get in the car and go someplace warm.
Yeah. Certainly.
But I guess I really should eventually find out what all she knows about the statue garden. But passions are high. Okay.
Sounds like you're less concerned about that right at this moment.
Yeah, seriously.
Cool. I'm checking whether I want you to roll a move for kissing someone. And I guess the only question is, are you doing this in order to bring her around or back her up, or is it just or mislead, distract, or trick her? Or is it just a kiss that's a kiss?
I mean, like, I'm not trying to trick her. Let's see, bringing around one of NPCs. I'm not really like. She started this, so like she tried to bring me around, so that already happened.
So it sounds like
neither of us have leverage. So yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, there's no move that this triggers. It looks like, so
just a kiss.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Then I think like the snow, like whips up around you a little, right? The wind picking up, and like the camera like pans up, and we like see, the like moon glinting off this statue of Bat.
No, if you don't mind. Like it pans down to the into the snow, and it's just the silhouette of us embracing.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. And in the far distance, a wolf howl.
Oh no.
But that's nothing to be concerned about right now, I'm sure. All right. Ina, Maria, if you at some point both look at the addresses you received from your various contacts, you'll find they point to the same place.
Oh no, I had a feeling.
Oh, you had a premonition about that?
I sort of felt like, I bet like he's caught up in something. But yeah.
Yeah. The address that Isabella gave you for Fritz, and Ina, the address that Helmut gave you for Sessler, they're pointing to the same place.
So kind of dance over and stuff, and so we're kind of walking, whatever. We're like in the city, and Maria, I say to you, perhaps you could accompany me on my next mission, because I've been given strict instructions that I am to return this person who I'm going to see alive and in one piece. And if you're there to remind me of that, that might be easier for me.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. And I think at that moment, like, Maria will take out her piece of paper and say, "Could you also help me afterwards? I'm here to. I have great news. I found Fritz after all this time." And then I show you the address.
And I raise an eyebrow, and I say, "Well, that makes things much easier." And I kind of like, with a flourish, I produce my address. Are they written in the same handwriting?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Cool.
Different.
Because that's like there's on the nose and there's two on the nose. But yes. All right. And I smile and I tuck it back away and I say, "Well, I will. You will keep me. You will see to it that I return Sessler alive and in one piece." And so just as a second as a player, would I know what your deal with Fritz is, or?
Oh yeah. I would have told you completely about what happened, how he went missing, how he was an artist. I'm sure, like, when I told you had a feeling something else was up, that
all right.
Maria didn't know.
Oh, sure. Okay, so I say, you will accompany me to see to it that I return Mr. Sessler alive and in one piece, and I will be there to console you when you find your artist friend at the bottom of a bottle with some of the local working girls.
And I say, "Oh, is it bad to be at the bottom of a bottle?"
It's a figure.
Oh, okay.
It is, yes. It's a figure of speech. And I say, and I kind of raise an eyebrow, and I say, whatever, Schmidt in the cafe, the one who is always in the cafe, he is at the bottom of a bottle.
Oh, so Fritz will smell bad. Okay, I understand.
Does Maria smell things, or she just has a concept that that's something people talk about?
Yeah, other people told her that he smells bad. Like, she sees people going like that around him, and she goes, "Okay, so that must be what it means."
Yes, and I titter merrily, and we're on our way to go see these two gentlemen.
Sounds like you're embarking on a mission.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
All right. Do you have good intel about the mission?
We have an address.
Yeah, you
Ooh.
do have an address. That's
Could I also
true.
try to Radio Free Europe so that we can get more intel?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you want to Radio for Europe before you arrive
Yeah.
there. Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of opening your mind up to whatever might be in the ether surrounding this
Yeah.
address.
And I
Yeah.
think the way that it looks is that down below in that basement under the city in the sewer, where all the other Marias are, all of their eyes open up, and then they all start to work together. And I think like when we go into that moment, they were actually watching watching Ina dance, also
Oh, like projected within
onto the
this
walls.
lab. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing and creepy. And let's see you roll that Radio for Europe move then.
Okay,
When you
so-
open your brain to the music of the spheres, the radio waves in the atmosphere, or the ley lines of magic, roll plus streamer.
Yeah, there we go. So re-rolling, that's a 10, 11, 12, 13. So
Yeah, big hit. I'll tell you something new interesting about your situation. On templates, you've got a clear signal. I give you a good detail, and you can ask a follow-up question. Yeah, so I feel like you just like kind of network with the other Marias and like through them with the like machinery of the city, and kind of we get like an overhead shot of Vienna that like zooms hard in on this address you've got, which is for a supposedly disused factory in kind of more of the or the industrial part of town, in like a heavily bombed out area, but this one building's still standing, and you see that kind of within it, a lot of machinery is set up, like strange machinery that is more advanced than what's in the surrounding city, and kind of there's you see a vision of some like robot workers within, kind of building what appears to be like a missile, and like all around the missile are easels set up, easels with like different abstract paintings on them, and like your friend Fritz is in the room. He's working on another easel, like really finishing a painting, and like he's like breathing hard, as like someone comes and like takes the painting and like puts it again. Like it's like they've arranged a magic circle around this missile they're making, and to make like channel something from these paintings into this missile. And like Fritz says, "That's the last one, right? She'll be okay. You'll let her go." And like the guard who's taking the painting from Fritz is like, that's not my decision. Does it go over here, Herr Sessler? Yeah, so you could ask a follow-up question based on that clear signal you got of what's going on here.
I want to have eyes on whoever Ina has to bring in.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, you kind of focus in on the person who was addressed as Herr Sessler, and you see a kind of pale, thin man. He's sitting in a wheelchair. There's like a guard like standing behind him, and he's got like shiny round glasses on, looking over the whole thing. He's kind of he's sipping tea, right? He looks like he's kind of relatively at ease in this situation, but certainly guarded by the people all around, and he's definitely got like a notable facial scar, we'll say, as well.
Like it's really like wrinkled one part of his face, like pulled it in.
Yeah, something. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, so like I make sure to project everything once again so that Ina can see it clearly.
Okay, giving her a look at this situation inside. Yeah, totally.
And I think I'm going to say, and I think you're right. He is definitely at the bottom of the bottle, completely misusing the idiom.
Absolutely. Yeah, you see that, you get this image of everything going on here, and the name Simon Sessler didn't mean anything to you when Bradley gave it to you, but you definitely recognize that face. It turns out there was one survivor of that group of Nazi scientists that made you into what you are.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
right.
how is he gonna come in alive? How is that gonna happen?
Yes.
All right, ready to roll the mission move now?
Yeah.
It seems like now you do have good intel about the mission.
Yes.
So plus one for that. Do you have resources or connections that will help with this mission?
So, I don't think so. I mean, it's pretty much just us going in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Gruppenführer Sessler.
Sure.
Yes, that is the group leader. The group leader of an SS unit is a Gruppenführer.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I was picturing that maybe he might have been more junior at the time, and that's why he was the one.
Just a schmuck. Okay, yeah, sure.
There was this whole group of scientists, right? And you killed. You thought you killed all of them, but it turned out there was one.
Sure. Yeah, he was like a button pusher who hid under a desk somewhere or something like that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but now somebody's got him working on
there we go.
A missile full of art energy, apparently. Okay, yep. So you'll take a +1 from good intel. Does everyone participating trust the leader's competence and intentions? Maria says trust you.
Always trusting, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And is everyone being upfront about their own agendas and motives for the mission?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing this for the CIA. I don't think I made any secret about that. I'm doing this because the CIA told me to, and they've got my leash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Maria was also honest about what's going on.
Then roll with +1, and as we're coming up on time, we're gonna really use this mission move to montage right in, right, and then the roll will really determine if we're kind of closing out on more of a rousing yes, they're getting away with it, or uh-oh.
Yeah, it's like a Band of Blades secondary mission roll here. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh man, I want to play Band of Blades. Okay.
All right. Then make the roll with a +1.
Oh, okay, cool. I will make the roll. 9 + 1 is 10.
Woo! Wow. Oh, thank God. I was so nervous. My palms were sweaty.
We're golden, is what it says.
Yes.
We pick up with you already in the midst of the mission, having dealt with the first obstacle and coming from a position of strength. So yeah, we got a sense of what we're looking at. Deep in this supposedly abandoned warehouse, there's a whole operation going on where an ex-Nazi and a poor a captured artist are being forced to collaborate on this weird art missile project. What does it look like as you guys have stormed the compound and made penetrated the inner sanctum here? And bits of this montage, what do we see as you make your way in?
I feel like this is just a I think this is a thing where the camera starts at whatever back alley electronic shop that is the like secret entrance to this place, right? The TV repair shop or something like that. And like, you know, camera swoops in and there is like, you know, the guy that was at the counter is unconscious behind the counter and like the you know, the glass counter has been smashed and there's some blood there. And like, you know, the trail of broken glass kind of leads to you know, a door that had like a big like some movie posters on it or something, you know, that was concealed behind the wall, and there's stairs down, and like at the bottom of the stairs there's somebody else laying, you know, like a guy with a machine gun laying unconscious, crumpled on the floor, kind of thing like that. We kind of follow a trail of like battered and bruised but still breathing guards, you know, in various states of, you know, comatose, to where we are actually like in that area that has the paintings and stuff. And I'll let Maria kind of describe what's going on in there.
Yeah, Maria, what have you done to help, you know, help this mission, you know, especially given there is a bunch of strange technology all around that, you know, you can tell me how you've interfaced.
Actually, I have a really creepy idea. Just let me know if you should change it or whatever. But I was thinking that Maria doesn't know, like she's just walking in, and then parts of the machinery start to twist, and they start to look like the Marias that are down below in the sewer, and they start taking out people, but Maria doesn't know, like they're completely
so totally
ignorant.
unbeknownst to her, like she's kind of overriding the technology here, and it's becoming like further Maria's advancing, you know, advancing her agenda without her direct knowledge. I like this a lot, absolutely.
Yeah. And Maria's just like walking around completely innocent, and she's like, "Oh, hey, is that Fritz?" And then so like I would rush over to him if I could see him.
Yeah, Maria, you rush over to Fritz, you know, like a guard nearby is like, oh, stay back, right? You know, like, but like clearly like, you know, shaking, right? You know, like the gun he's holding up is just like quivering in the air, because he's like seeing some of the destruction you've like wrought on your way here, and you know, it's kind of like is assigned to guard Fritz, but is a little distraught at the moment. And like Fritz sees you coming and says, Maria, you came, but you'll be in terrible danger. No.
And then Maria stops for a moment, and she says, "No, a friend told me that I'll always be beautiful. I'm in no danger."
Wow. Yeah. Are you? What are you doing? What do you do? Because Fritz looks shocked and confused. You know, the guard looks like, you know, he's kind of, you know, either going to fire or just break down weeping and collapse on the floor.
Yeah, I think I'm going to help him along with the collapse. I'm going to say, I know you don't want to. Like, I have this horrible idea where there's a nice Maria who's saying, I know you don't want to hurt anyone. And he sees, like, some of the machinery starting to take on my face.
Yeah, just like other machinery turning into like the more dangerous Maria.
Yeah, so I'm going to roll. I'm going to try to get him to come around.
To surrendering and just, you know, throwing down his gun. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, like, if this doesn't work, the other Maria will like start shit up. And I'm going to say that I'm saying I know that humans do things that they don't want to do just because they think they have to. I think that's what happened to you here, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's like, his like lip is trembling. Roll with advantage on that. Bring someone around.
So that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8.
Yeah, absolutely. So he says, he drops the gun, puts up his hands. He says, all right, you can go. Just keep all of them away from me. All right, keep me safe. And like points past you to like where the other Marias are starting to form.
I think it's gonna be really creepy where every time Maria looks to where the other Marias are, they stop moving.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
think like
not there.
Yeah, and then she's like, "What are you talking about? Of course I'll keep you safe. You're now a friend of mine."
Oh, good. Maria, always about making friends. Over by the missile, Sessler's wheelchair is just kind of parked. He's kind of wheeling it back away from where there's another like fallen guard, I imagine. And like as soon as he catches sight of you, he kind of smiles and says, so the Americans have sent my greatest creation to come and rescue me. Fitting, I suppose.
Oh my god.
And I smile and say, yes, Herr Sessler. You succeeded beyond your wildest dreams. And I walk towards him, and I kind of walk around the back of the wheelchair, and I say to him, so your heart isn't in this? Kind of indicating, and it's sort of like turn the wheelchair towards the rocket, and I say, is your heart not in this, Herr Sessler?
Yeah, he says, oh, it's interesting on a technical level, I suppose, but I never really saw the appeal of abstract art. And he waves towards the canvases they have set up. He says, weaponized cubism. Well, an amusing concept, but it lacks the elegance of what we did with you. Don't you agree?
And I say, what you did, you're nothing but a butcher. You didn't do anything to me. It was the Danube that created what you see before you here. And I just dump him out of his wheelchair. And I like grab him by the by the back of his collar, and I say, I was instructed to return you alive and in one piece. But not happy. And
his eyes go a little wide.
Yeah, and so I kind of like haul him by the neck over to one of those paintings,
mm-hmm.
And sort of haul him up and say, and I sort of take it off the easel and I say, perhaps we can help you develop an appreciation. And I just like take him by the back of the head and just like smash his head through the canvas. Like jam his face into the canvas, just like rip right through the canvas.
So that you're carrying him out of there, like with the canvas as like.
I'm gonna do this like half a dozen times to mess up some of the paintings.
Got it. Yeah.
And, and then like, and then I say, and then I kind of look over to Maria, and if she's got her friend with her, then I will take Sessler by an ankle and like just drag him out.
Yeah.
He's getting dragged up the stairs. Boom, 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 boom.
And
boom.
as that's happening, Maria's like, "Oh yeah, good job." One piece, and
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're hitting the remit.
Yeah.
All right, I'm inclined to go to brief epilogues now.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's great.
We've dealt with the action here, and now give me what you think is the last glimpse for each of your characters, starting back with Marguerite.
Oh no. I don't know. I think it's like Isabella and Marguerite fighting off a swarm of Nazi werewolves.
Like you pulled out your like
We're on a height in the middle of the height, and that's when as we're like leaving, that's when we're surrounded by these werewolves with they clearly have like the armbands and the uniforms.
Okay, they've gone all out.
Wolfman type werewolves.
Yeah, so like you guys have ended up like back to back. You pulled out your dagger, and like she's like pulled a pistol,
like a Derringer or something. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then the epilogue cuts to Maria. What do we see in your epilogue? And just in case you want to work with this, I think like you learn from Fritz that his captors told him that they'd implanted a bomb in you that they could blow up if he didn't cooperate.
Ooh. And I think I think it's two things. Like two glimpses. I think the first one is Fritz is painting again in the apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and Maria is singing to him. Her idea is singing, so she's just replaying what she heard and that was dancing. So she's
like she's opening her mouth and the accordion music is coming out.
Yeah. And she goes, "This is singing, right?"
Yeah.
But she's also trying to turn it into a real voice. But then while that charming scene is happening, like camera pans below and it's back to the sewers. And I think what happens is like Elizabeth has tracked it down.
Oh, Elizabeth has found her way down below to these other Marias.
Yeah. But I think the other Marias don't like her. Like I think it's gonna end on this note of like all of them encircling her, and they have their eyes red, and they're like, "You tried to kill a friend."
Oh man.
But I'm not sure what's gonna happen. She could get out of it. I'm just saying that's like a
yeah.
But I think in the corner there's gonna be a Maria that blew up. Like the bomb went off in the corner, like it's blackened on the walls over there.
Oh, fascinating. So there was a Maria that they had that leverage over. I love it.
Because I'm thinking that they tried to explode it while she was like in the
as soon as like the alarms were going off and it looked like she was trying to get Fritz out of there. Absolutely. Yeah. What's the last thing we see here?
We see close-up shot of me, my lips over Bradley's, both of our eyes closed, and like kiss lingers for about 5 seconds. And then I pull back and the camera kind of does this like sweep where it makes it clear he's lying on his back and I'm lying over him, but like we were like horizontal when the camera first came in, and then it does this, and I pull back, and he goes, "Ugh!" and like water like spurts out of his mouth, and like he sits bolt upright, and we are like on the embankment under the shadow of that same bridge that Maria and I were under and everything. And I'm holding him gently by the shoulders, and I say, it's all right. Just, and like, I kind of like let him lean over. I kind of tap him on the back a couple times, and he's coughing and hacking and everything. He says, I was just walking on the bridge. And, and I am kneeling. He's like sitting down and I'm kneeling. So I'm like maybe a head taller than him. Mm-hmm. And I like hook a knuckle under his chin and I turn his face up towards me. And I say, you should be very careful. The river is dangerous and I might not be here next time.
Beautiful. And with that, let's call it a series of Checkpoint Midnight Magic Missile Gap. Thank you all for playing. Anyone who's watching, thanks for watching. Remember, you can find out more about Checkpoint Midnight at bit.ly/checkpointmidnightlist. Bye-bye.